Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Half Past Dead Paranormal Radio, the Paranormal and Strange. We're brought to you on WCJV Digital Broadcasting out of Buffalo, New York. I'm your host, Roger Belt, and, of course, my partner, Mr. Hank Stratton.
Otherwise known as Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, and we had another one, but we won't go there.
We won't go there at all. God,
Hope everybody's doing okay tonight. We're going to start this thing off with a topic. We want everybody to get involved. Hank has got a thing that he's going to talk about, and we're going to thrash it around, and we want everybody to call in and thrash it around with us. So, without any further ado, Mr. Hank, you take off, buddy.
What we're wanting to do is we are going to make each show with a list of topics so people can come in, they can hear what we've got, and it's not just trying to pull something out of the air and try to keep it going. We're going to try to be more focused. We're going to put everything more and more together. So what we're going to work with, since we're going to be working with 4 hours, we're going to be putting together a list of 4 topics, 2 from Roger and 2 from me. And what we'll do is we will let you know at the end of the show what the next week's topics are going to be. Now, based on experience that we've done and other groups that we've worked with, I'm having a little issue with degrees versus experiences. I've known some groups, and I'm not going to promote them by mentioning their name, but they claim to have, out of 14 members, 10 members having degrees in parapsychologies. Now, here's the thing, and I'm hoping for feedback from everyone. The value of a degree. I mean, like I've made mention, I've got 2 degrees in computer science, and I'm yet to spend a single day in my degree choice. So while I'm looking at this, what value is a degree in parapsychology? Yes, you have all of these ideas and wonderful learnings, and you have a sheepskin, as they used to call it, backing everything you say. But does that do anything for what you actually know? Anybody?
Okay, I do not possess a degree in anything. I personally feel that the people with degrees actually, if they're actually working with clients, I think they try to establish a little bit more power over the client, whereas the people that are non-degree wise tend to be on a level with the client instead of trying to overpower them by telling them, I have obtained a degree in this and that, and this person has 4, and this person has 3, this person has 1. So it kind of tends to lean to they're overpowering the client instead of being on the same level, the same direction with the client.
Now, Toby, are you saying this is with experience or the degree part?
Oh no, this is with personal experience. How can I put it? All right, our group, we go in, we keep a very open mind we're at the same level as a client, where in my personal experience, the people with the degrees have a tendency to overwhelm the client with saying, oh, I got degrees, I know what I'm talking about, you don't.
I tend to agree with that. And since we're talking about degrees versus experience and all that, have you seen, or I know you've heard about it, but I don't know, I don't think I've actually seen one. These people who claim to go to a ghost hunting school and they get a certificate or degree in ghost hunting, which gives them permission to go anywhere they want to go. And I think, I read some of this stuff and I'm like, who are they kidding?
Go ahead, Roger, finish it up.
As far as I know, there's not any such thing as a ghost hunting, well, there may be somebody that claims to run a ghost hunting school, but it's the whole, I actually was involved with a team one time, and I'll use this as an example. The team founder said that before you can do this, we have to give you a test, and then we have to certify you. Certification to do what we do, basically, that you're not legally allowed to pursue this without this certification. So, it kind of fits in with degrees and versus wisdom and all that. So what do you think about that?
Hold on. I got Dita chomping at the bit here. Okay, look. Now you touched on a subject that I didn't think about. I didn't think about even touching. Didn't even dawn on me. I wasn't thinking about it. I did. Okay, now don't laugh at. Well, yeah, go ahead and laugh at me. Join with me. I don't care. Okay, but I did find a university online. And I toyed with the idea. I mean, now, like Dita posted, okay? You either have it or you don't, okay? And that's true. You either have it or you don't. But if you go in without a clue, okay? Now, a lot of people that we're bringing in to my team, I'm not mentioning the name of the university, but I've kind of kept some of that information and helped bring them to speed, because they're the ones that, I've always been interested in this, and I've wondered about it, and if it was real, and this, and that. And we've asked them, have you had any paranormal or psychic experiences in the past? And it's kind of sort of to a flat out, no, I'm interested. Then I would say a ghost hunting, and I say this with tongue in cheek and with air quotes, a ghost hunting school would be a good train, okay, of thought. Now, having said that, are they the end all of all means? Certainly not. Just because you go to a school and you become a private investigator. Well, you could do the same thing being a private investigator by being a peace officer for a minimum of a year. Okay? You could get your feet wet and a few teeth knocked out being a private investigator on your own. Those of us with And here we're touching into the experience side of this. We grew up, A, in haunted houses. B, we worked in haunted locations, specifically nursing homes. We, some members of my team went to a haunted school. Okay? Just because you have the paper that you did the training does not give you carte blanche to go out and I know exactly what I'm doing. I will sit there and laugh at you. Okay? It's good information. Now when I did this online, it gave me other avenues for research techniques, sites that I could use and go into, because I was having many discussions with my instructors. A, I'm already psychic. B, I'm already an empath. C, I've already got these and that other experiences. And now Dita has added, I don't think you ever know it as far as knowing what you're doing. Always learn. Oh, yeah, always. Oh, yes, and that goes to my favorite joke. Experts. X is a has-been. Expert is a drip under pressure. There are no experts in this field because it's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. That's why and again, going back to my degrees in computer science, unless you are staying with that industry, you have no real way of keeping up with it. It is a case of matter of use it or lose it. Go for it, Toby.
Can I throw in a little tidbit here for you? Maybe this might be...
Go for it.
All right. Okay, I get a degree in parapsychology. I already had attained a degree in psychology. Would that make you an efficient... Oh, my... efficient... hunter? Or a self-proclaimed medium? Self-proclaimed psychic medium?
Given that context, okay, the way you pose the question, there is honestly, there is no training unless you are already predisposed to it of getting a degree as a psychic medium. If you are not already exposed to it or predisposed to it, there's no way you can learn all there is. But if you don't have the experience, which goes back to the degree in parapsychology. Now, this course that I was taking, yeah, I know you're going to laugh with me or laugh at me, I don't care. This course that I was taking took you, in effect, from cradle to grave, the whole degree of parapsychology. I mean, we're talking UFOs, we're talking cryptozoology, we're talking about ESP and clairvoyancy, we're talking astral, we're talking metaphysicals, and that covers another range all by itself. That's why I pluralized that. I also looked into, it even took you into doing astrology and tarot. Well, I'm not that great of an astrologer, but I do tarot. I gave them a few lessons in rune reading. This all falls under parapsychology. Now, as a degree in psychology, I find that handy because then you learn how to relate to people with their anxieties, to understand how do I put this in a polite way? Any other issues they may have. Because as we've gone through our investigations, not everything is paranormal. People have issues with unshielded electrical, EMFs called EMF, electromagnetic force, causing headaches, disorientation, to the point that some people, or at least one that I've encountered, it affected her mentally. Period.
That was I think the main ordeal in that last case that we worked. Their house sat right between two huge transformers.
OMG.
Yeah, and
you say 2 and 2 are 4. Jesus criminy.
And and we tried to point that out. Look, this is a lot of what you got going on here. Oh no, we know what we saw and what's going on. I said, yeah, you think you know everything that's going on, but when you have that much EMF running through your house, you're going to see and feel a lot of things that you didn't know you were going to see and feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that,
instead of aluminum foil hats, it's the copper foil hat.
Right, so that the aliens don't stick an anal probe up your butt, right?
That's another subject.
Having a school supposedly to teach you how to be psychic is, in my opinion, can teach you how to fake being a psychic. Because if you don't have the gift to start with, they're not going to teach you anything except how to fake stuff.
Right. Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I give credit to this place because they were teaching you, but not teaching you how to be psychic. They were teaching you the tools. Okay, let me explain this. As a tarot reader, I've been doing it since 90. Nope, not 90. I've been doing it since 80. Since 89. And I've got basically like 13, 14 different decks, but I only work with 5 of them constantly. And I have learned all these years, there never is the same spread twice.
Now,
So, go ahead.
a lot, I will agree on pretty much what we're all saying here. Hank, you were in the medical field, in the military. I was in the medical field of the military. And you would have to agree with me. I don't know about you, Roger, but what they do is they lightly touch on psychology, and everything else you had to pick up on your own. With me being pretty much a corpsman for the Marines, I had to learn fast about psychology. So instantly I had to start taking courses after courses after courses. After a while, I noticed it was starting to get redundant. Well, with as far as our field goes, the only advantage to it is we can relate to the client so much better as versus somebody with a degree coming out of school saying, oh, I got a degree in this parapsychology. I know exactly what. How do you know? The client's sitting there showing distress, anger, frustration. Do you really understand what that client or that person is going through?
Right.
We had a case, and to believe it or not, Hank and I totally understood our client. We got on a level with her to make her feel comfortable instead of trying to be like a lot of these people with the parapsychology degree and saying, oh, it's nothing, it's just a state of your mind. No, yeah, some of it is, but at the same time, yeah, there was paranormal activity there. Yes, the EMF readings were off the chart in their place, but we had to throw out the EMF readings with the client because it was not just a mental thing; it was a physical aspect to it too. So really, truly, if a person came in with a degree, I don't think they would totally understand it.
Okay. EMF, you're bringing that up. EMFs were off the chart, whatever. Now it is becoming a part in the field of paranormal investigation that EMFs give spirits the power to function better. That's why you have people building EMF pumps that they use during an investigation, because they believe that the EMFs give the spirits more power to communicate, to function, to do what they're going to do.
Basically, that's true.
Therefore, if you have a house that is, and, you know, there was a little bit of stuff going on at the place we were at, yes, but it wasn't as major as they were saying it was. I think a lot of that had to do with the EMF effects on them. But it also probably helped to maintain the little bit of activity that was going on. So it's kind of either or situation, you know. You can't tell a client, well, you know, everything that you're saying is happening is all because of EMF, because it may not be. You have to take them at their word that there's something going on and investigate for that, EMF or not.
Okay, let's look at it this way. All right. A degree, you get exposed with an understanding of everything that comes under the heading of parapsychology. Experience tells you that, yes, you can explain, you have this experience and not this experience, that experience, because these issues are coming from an unshielded furnace, unshielded and old wiring. And you take your equipment. Now, that's going to be part of what I'm going to be getting into later, okay, during the third hour of our show. But you take your equipment and you educate. You show what is all that static that I'm getting online. Anybody else hearing that?
No.
I get it every now and then.
It just calmed down because I brought note to it. Okay. Still there, but not as bad. It's not as deafening. But Dita's catching it too.
I'm not hearing it.
And you educate. You teach. You show. Then if you get the situation of leading the proverbial horse to water and they're not drinking, then it's like, we're here if you need us. You know, more or less, see you later. You know, you've done what you could. So here's, you know, again, you get the education versus the experience. Just because you have the degree, the sheepskin, does not mean you have the experience. Now, with the experience, what is an education but giving you a smattering of each level of experience so that you know when you go out in the field what your experience is. So we're basically also saying education versus a school of hard knocks. Experience is the best but hardest teacher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I'm not what's the word I'm searching for here? I'm not a genius, okay? I quit school in the 7th grade. I managed to get a GED and go 2 semesters of college, but it took me years to do that. I believe that you can learn the basics from a course or school, but you don't really learn the full potential of that particular degree that you got until you get out in the field and you use it every day, because that's where you learn the real experience.
I'll throw one even better. I will tag along with that comment, Roger. Personal experience. Okay. These individuals that I came across basically said, our findings are the best findings in the world. If you try to go out to any other, reach out to touch any other group, whatever they find is all farce. So, well, and I turned around and asked, why is that? Because we obtain the degrees. We know for sure. So, again, who am I going to trust? Somebody with the book knowledge? Lack of experience? Or am I going to trust somebody with a ton of experience and no degree?
I hear what you're saying. If I was and this is just an example, but if I was a client and I wanted somebody to come investigate my house, and I had a choice of somebody who had a degree in parapsychology but hadn't been in the field but maybe a year, versus a team that had never been to school and didn't have a degree, but had been investigating for 20 plus 30 years, which one would I choose?
Probably the one.
And don't forget to have the evidence to back up what they were doing.
Exactly. I'm going to choose the one with the most experience, whether they had a degree or not, because they've been in it long enough to know what the heck they're talking about. Right. And not all the polish from, well, I've got a degree in this and that, and, I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to go with the ones that have been in it a long time, that, as Hank said, school of hard knocks. Them hard knocks pay off.
Go for it, Toby.
Would the three of us say that really, truly the people with the degrees in some way will end up force feeding a client something that, even though they got something going on, a bunch of farce, whereas like us, we'll go in, we'll show them the proof, regardless if there is any. Maybe there might be an orb or a slight miss somewhere.
Proof or lack of proof, either way.
Yeah. I mean, how can I put it this way? I know firsthand, Roger. I learned the hard way. Is the ones with experience are willing to give a person that's seeking that help within our field the time, the education to show, instead of sitting there saying, oh, you have nothing to worry about. It's all, and I will use air quotes, it's textbook findings.
Hold on, Toby. You're listening to WCJV Digital Radio Broadcasting out of Buffalo, New York. All right, go ahead.
Oh, I was finishing. I was done.
I had to get that out. I had to get
Yeah.
that out. It was
Oh,
at
no.
it was at the half hour. And
Yeah.
Now,
Well, really,
but-
truly.
broadcasting. Maybe I should have just left it at digital broadcasting.
when I say what I said, don't by any means I'm not knocking a degree or anything like that. Not putting it down. I'm just saying in the paranormal field, if I had to choose between that person, out of school with their degree thinking they know it all or somebody who actually has seen it all, I'm going to choose the people that's seen it all. And nobody's seen it all, but you know what I'm saying, the ones that have seen the most,
Right.
that have dealt with the most.
The one advantage. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Roger.
I'm sure they don't teach you in parapsychology how to use the equipment that we use.
This one course that I was taking, yes.
Oh, they do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did.
Oh,
That was
cool.
one
Well,
reason, that's
then
one
I
reason
retract
why I
that
was
statement.
promoting it. That was the one reason I was promoting this particular course. It was Universal Studies, Universal Class.
Well, then
Class.
I retract that statement then. My apologies.
They were good, but you are still hitting the nail on the head. Just because you have a degree doesn't mean you know it. Like Toby made mention, we're going to tell you what we want you to know.
Exactly.
No, you have to deal with a good level of ethics. Now let's get back to that computer course that I was taking back at Clover Park Community College. Okay. When I was taking the computer and information system security course, we had at least 3 classes that dealt so heavily in ethics. I mean, it was almost as bad as going through basic training and pounding the level of ranks and the jobs that each rank had over your happy little self. Okay? It was pounding. But it was a good thing because I was going for finishing up my core classes with a hacking and freaking. You had to have a level of ethics just because you have the degree. Which, in some ways prepares you for this exact field. But when you're looking at degrees, you're looking at a level of pay, a level of return. Not everybody is doing this for money.
Hear, hear.
Okay? There is a niche. There is a need. And just because, oh my God, you get a client that comes in or calls in, oh my God, I've got this, that, and the other, and oh, well, can you pay
Right.
$75? And that's just for the half hour. It's a $25 additional 15 minutes for an investigation. And it's like, oh my God, no, I can't. And a week later, you hear that they've committed suicide out of desperation. Dude, that is some serious karma you just inherited.
Right.
I will say this, and I'm not going to knock anything. I know quite a few of my personal friends. They all obtain really good degrees. And I will say 50-50 have a sense of professionalism, while the other 50 don't. So we got to throw this in here, Hank and Roger. Would a degree say that you got professionalism to go and do residential and business investigations?
The degree itself does not give you Uh, if I had a person come on my team with that fresh out of college with a degree in parapsychology, the first thing I would say is throw that out the window. You can learn it our way.
Oh, you finish, Roger. That made me think of something. You finish that, bro.
Exactly, because that degree without any experience ain't worth doodly squat to me.
Okay, now, Toby, well, once a corpsman, always a corpsman. Once a medic, always a medic. Okay.
Right.
I got in to my first week in med school over there at Fort Sam Houston, Texas. In that first week, we went through the book. These are all things you're going to learn. The end of that week, okay, now, only because you have accountability of that book, you can't throw it away, but just stuff it in your locker. Just stuff it someplace. You don't need it anymore because you're going to learn what you need to know. All these things is what the military called an SQT, Skills Qualification Test. It is a standard. It does not teach you that given the medics, in a combat situation, and you are doing a suturing, and there was a standard for that, if I remember correctly. It doesn't teach you that you can take the hairs of the person's head and tie them together so tight to improvise a suture.
Right.
Close that sucker up, slap a Band-Aid on it, figuratively speaking, of course, and up to the next echelon, to a MASH unit. And they will take care of it from that point. Now, it doesn't teach you, the book does not teach you that, yes, use the soldier's belt as a tourniquet. Well, if you don't have the belt, use his bloody sock, or hers, depending on the case that,
Correct. So, would we say that textbook, as like a lot of people like to refer to, it's a textbook investigation. It's a textbook ordeal. This is what it says in the textbook. This is the way it's got to be. In my personal experience, since when are things textbook? I'm sorry. I mean, I don't mean to make a laughing matter out of everybody using.
Amen, Brother Toby. Amen, Brother Roger.
That follow this golden rule of what I learned at school from the textbook is 100% correct. When, you know what? I'll tell you what, honestly. I would invite any team here, other than a couple that I know of, and throw your ghost hunting textbook out the window. If you think my place is textbook, you're walking in here with the simple mind, and you're not going to get results.
Textbook is one thing. It gives you a basis. It gives you an idea.
It gives you a foundation.
Exactly. It gives you a foundation. But when you learn real world experience, now you're going to separate the cooks from the chefs.
Let me give you an example here, Hank and Roger. You guys are going to love this. So you're looking at a picture, okay? They claim that there's a figure at the end of this, this supposed tunnel. And I'm looking at the picture, and it's the end of the tunnel, and they're saying that's a ghost. When it's light reflecting off of the very end, bouncing off of the tunnel end, and it's created this optical illusion that there's a figure there. And they are so bound to that is an apparition.
Boy, this is so touching into my next topic.
Well, I would like to say, and I really would, I would love to be there like a fly on the wall when, you're, and like I say, I'm not downing having a degree. There's nothing wrong with having a degree or nothing like that. But the first time somebody fresh out of school with their degree sees an apparition, I'd love to be a fly on the wall and see how big their eyes get and all. How they react. How they react, when the first time that they actually see a full-blown apparition.
I could tell you how they'll react. That's not a textbook apparition. I gotta run.
I didn't see that in my textbook.
They didn't teach us that in school. What am I going to do?
But it would be so fun to be a fly on the wall and watch their expression. Excuse me.
I no discredit to the ones that do have the degrees that are actually really good. I just find it to be that the ones with more experience, rather than the ones with degrees, do a much better job because they're more thorough. They're not looking at the obvious, whereas people with experience, knowledge, and personal account for it know and how to actually dig deeper. Yeah, we may touch the surface at the start, but then we're digging deeper. We're going through the layers instead of walking in and say, "Oh, you don't have anything."
It can be like sharing of information, just like with para-unity when teams share with each other or when they work together or whatever. You can take a team that does not have a degree in parapsychology. You can add a member who does. And if that is done in the right way, it can benefit both sides. They're learning real hands-on experience from you and your team, and you're learning some of the textbooks knowledge that maybe you don't know. And you blend it all together, you may come up with a really good team. So Therefore, like I said, I'm not knocking anybody with a degree. I'm just saying that they should have hands-on experience with an experienced team before they go out and start doing this stuff and blowing clients' minds by telling them, "Oh, well, I know what you need to do. You sit down there and let me do this."
Okay.
That's the reasoning or the idea behind reasoning and experience. Just because you have the school does not mean you know what the bloody hay you are doing.
I will say this. On a personal account level, I find that the ones with the degrees have a tendency to lean towards to be able to manipulate the client to do whatever they really want them to do.
And that's the level of ethics.
Yeah. I will put it this way. We were told by a group to get rid of our dogs. Our dogs are the cause of the problem. Wait.
Are you kidding?
You're telling me to get rid of my dogs?
He's serious. That's what they told him.
I'm dead serious.
Was this someone with a parapsychologist on their team?
Got it.
Yeah.
How did I know? See, that's what I'm saying. Just because you have that degree doesn't mean that you know what the heck you're talking about. Now, to a point, book-wise, yeah, you would. But to an experienced person who knows what's going on, no, you don't. It's kind of like that square peg in the round hole thing. until they get that experience, that square peg is not going to fit in that round hole.
Right.
You know, they got to gain that experience and wear those sides off of that square until it's round enough to go into that daggum hole. That's all there is to it. What, are you laughing at me or with me?
Both.
Well,
I was thinking basically the same thing. Just because it fits doesn't necessarily mean it should, but experience will tell you there is a way.
true.
But that's the key. It's like back when Ford was working, creating cars, and they were trying to work through the idea of people having injuries and even more severe injuries because when the glass breaks, it created jagged edges. Mr. Ford said, we have engineers that know why glass breaks. I want engineers that don't know why glass breaks. And because of that, we now have safety glass. It's either tempered or it has that laminate in between the two panes of glass.
Yeah.
Again, common sense approach solves a lot of issues. And how do you get the common sense? By experience. If you have a foundation with education, okay, good. But is it the end all of all means? No, it's not. Excuse me.
Because we are always learning.
Excuse me. And there are a lot of people that have forgot that. Forgot that? No, have forgotten that. There we go. I got that corrected.
Well, and even the ones with the degrees are always learning. It's like I said, school is really just giving you the basics of what life is about. You know, you have to learn the rest of life all by yourself. And you learn it by living it. So, you know, same basically with you get a degree in something does not mean that you know everything there is to know about that subject, because you don't. So, you know, my grandfather said it, and I'll never forget him saying that. Boy, when you get too old to learn, you might as well go ahead and dig your hole.
Amen.
Yep.
So, you know, you learn every day. I don't care how many degrees you got. You're still learning every day.
It's a never-ending process.
Exactly.
But I used this one time by fault. I said, I had my medical officer come up to me. He said, do you know this topic? I said, yes, I know it. He goes, let me rephrase this again. Do you know this topic? I stopped and I kind of examined the question. And the word I really examined was, do I know? Knowing, you never know everything. If you know it all, then you're in the wrong field. You need to be in a think tank.
Well, if you know everything, you know, they need to hook you up to about 50,000 million freaking wires going out to everybody else's brain, so you just pump it in there.
Right.
Under the heading of expert.
Right. So, in return replied to the question, I said, I partially know it. I don't know it all, but I partially know it. He goes, that's what I wanted to hear.
Or I know enough that I need to learn more.
Exactly.
There's always, okay. Prime example. We were training to go overseas. We had to do a part that was called nuclear, biological, chemical warfare. These guys that do NBC training are the gurus behind NBC. Well, they get a ride around in this luxury little NBC protected vehicle, but they're not on the ground, so they don't know what's happening on the ground, other than looking out their little, God, how big are those windows, Hank? About,
maybe
8 inches by 10 inches.
Well, actually, I was thinking more like about 6 inches high and 8 inches wide.
Roughly about that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's their view to the ground. And outside, they don't know what's going on. Yeah, they rely on instruments. They rely on this. They rely on that. They do test after test after test. Where since I was a foot pounding corpsman, I got firsthand account of what's going on.
Okay.
You know,
let me chirp in here for just a second. People out there listening, if you got a comment or you disagree or agree with what we're saying, call in, tell us about it. 716-745-4266. Sorry about that, Toby. Take off.
No, that's understandable. That's understandable. Good Lord, I hope they're not waiting until 6 o'clock to join us.
I would love to hear somebody else's point of view of this.
That's what I'm saying. You know, I'd like to get some different opinions in here. I can't be the only one with an opinion, neither can y'all.
Well, just because my opinion is right.
Okay, Hank. You got me.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all good. It'll come out in the wash and make it smell pretty. Yay.
Oh, boy.
Dita's even quiet. I mean, come on. Jeez.
And she don't have rented fingers today.
Wrong when Dita's quiet.
Yeah, there's something wrong.
And
and she doesn't have the typo fairies, beating on her fingers.
Ask her, are we boring her to sleep?
I have a million things running through my mind. I'm here listening. Aha. Okay, well, you could have been doing an LMOA. Anyway.
I can't see the chat room, so I can't tell what's going on.
Don't worry. If anything had come up, I'd have told you about it. I wouldn't leave you out in the dark.
Chat room fairies are messing with me again.
I wouldn't leave you out in the dark.
No. Well, if you did, I'd be fine. I'd just talk to myself.
Yeah, see, right there. There's proof. You are a paranormal investigator. You find no problem talking to yourself in the dark.
Nope.
Hey, I talk to myself in the dark all the time.
Yeah, the only trouble is, Toby, you still get answers.
That's the problem.
That's what I'm saying. Without a recorder.
Right?
You know, he would be like one of these people stumbling down the hallway in the dark. Where's the bathroom door at? And that's just something you would normally just say, right?
Yep.
No,
and then
Pete
you hear a voice,
exactly
right here, turn left.
Exactly. Pete would tell him, hey, you overshot it, born brain.
Yeah, right here,
Get
turn
back
left.
2 feet,
Oh. I'll tell you, it is kind of nice waking up in the middle of the night, though, and then having somebody tell you, no, it's another foot. Keep going another foot, another foot, another foot.
You're walking out with your hands out, like, so you don't run into something with your head.
Right.
Or your geolocator appendage on your foot.
Or you do what some people do, yeah, or stick some type of alarm on the tip of their toes, and that goes beep, 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 beep.
I broke my little toe going down the hallway in the middle of the night to the bathroom and hit it on a door frame.
tell you how many times I've done that.
Yes, it hurt.
I got a heck of a bunion on my big toe from that.
It hurt. It caught it on the doorway and it stretched it out sideways. And I'm like, that don't look right.
Get a hammer and pound it back in place.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. Oh.
So basically, that's our, that's our view on, education or a degree and experience. You look at the fact of, are they putting to practice what they've learned? Are they are they worth their level of exposure or of experience? Are they following a good level of ethics? Because I can tell you now, speaking for my team, if they're not having a good level of ethics, I am chewing some butt.
Exactly. I will put my 2 cents in here on the ending of this topic by saying, yes, I would love to have a parapsychologist on our team if and when they learn, from the experience like we do. I think it would be a good addition to a team, like Toby, like having a psychic medium on a team. Because they do have some knowledge that you won't have. So when you blend all that together, I think you would have a very good, well-rounded team.
Just like our state archaeologist. She can help us with a good many things like access to certain areas. She wants the paranormal experience. And I guess that boils down to that too. You've got to want to have the experience.
Right.
Oh.
So, yeah.
That just brought a whole entire ordeal out that I was just thinking of. I guess in a way, yes, it would be nice if we had one, but at the same level, they would have to go through the chain of, starting at the bottom, work up. Whereas vice versa, I see a lot of these groups with getting these degrees, man, they're throwing them right into a case and saying, hey, you know what you're doing, get in there. Get your hands dirty.
Experience. You've got the book experience, but you don't have the practical knowledge.
Right.
Yeah, I would love to learn more about UFOs, a better understanding of cryptozoology, and shake hands with Bigfoot or exchange ideas with Loch Ness or Champs or that other one Lord Rick told us about in Lake Mead, Lake Tahoe? Stand by. You're listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting, Buffalo, New York. And we're going to be taking a break.
We'll be right back.
According to just released figures from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, roughly 722,000 American veterans are currently out of work. One of the organizations whose mission is to help veterans find jobs is the Call of Duty Endowment. Dan Goldenberg is the endowment's executive director and a Navy Reserve commander.
Fighting the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, our country has created more than 1.2 million veterans since 9/11. And as those veterans returned home to one of the worst economies in American history, they faced a tough new challenge in finding a job. This year, we're pledging over $4 million to the top veteran employment nonprofits in America. Each of those organizations will have met our Seal of Distinction standards, which really means that they've demonstrated the highest levels of effectiveness and efficiency in placing veterans into jobs.
As both a veteran and a business professional himself, Goldenberg discusses what makes the endowment different.
We bring a business mindset to our giving by rigorously screening applicants, measuring performance, and demanding accountability. Organizations that meet their grant commitments can expect ongoing or increased support, and we help them get there through advice, connections, and resources. We want to grow the best performing organizations to ensure that as many veterans as possible are being helped. We've been told on many occasions that we have the most rigorous yet supportive approach in veterans philanthropy, and it's producing great results.
For more information, visit Call of Duty Endowment.
Hello, everybody. We're back.
Right back.
Yeah, we're back. That was an interesting topic, and I hope everybody got something out of that. I know I did. We're going to go on this second hour, and we're going to talk about ghosts. And this is information that I got. In traditional belief and fiction, a ghost, or sometimes known as a specter, phantom, apparition, spook, etc., is the soul or spirit of a dead person or animal that can appear in visible form or other manifestations to the living, as an invisible presence, a translucent or barely visible shape, to realistic lifelike visions. And yes, I have seen one of those. The deliberate attempt to contact the spirit of a deceased person is known as necromancy, or in spiritualism terms, a seance. What does anybody have to say about all that? Somebody call in and give me some information. What is your idea?
Well, speaking as your resident pagan, there is a specific difference between necromancy and a seance. Necromancy.
I figured that myself.
Necromancy. That's necrophilia, Dita. Necromancy is love of the dead. No, dear. That is.
Oh, you go, Dita.
Oh, I should have known. I should have known that would have come from her. I should have. I don't mean sex.
That was good.
Oh,
There.
Dr. John D., who was he was classified as a necromancer. Now, someone can correct me all you want. He studied Kabbalah. He was a sorcerer. He was in the same vein as good Lord, help me, the prophet, the French prophet Nostradamus. Okay.
Yeah, I like Nostradamus.
Necromancy is not just speaking with the dead. You are calling them up from the grave, and you are having them perform acts, whether you're having just ideas from the other side, or you're controlling them to go commit some sort of what do you want? Crime, whatever, some sort of action. A seance, you're using a medium. Okay? A medium. And what they are doing is they are setting aside a part of their consciousness so that a spirit can come in and communicate through this individual, which is not that much different than a channeler. A channeler communicates. A channeler communicates strictly with ascended masters. See, I've got the knowledge, I've got the experience, but I don't have, or I have the knowledge, I have the understanding, but I don't have the experience. Tying into the last discussion.
Right.
We're done playing now. Oh.
Well, now I've seen 3 different types of spirit entities when I was about 9 years old, all in that 1 year. And probably I would say not more than 3 or 4 months apart. That was weird. My next door neighbor's mother, like I said, she passed away about 2 weeks after that, roughly somewhere in that area. We passed her on the sidewalk, walking just as real as you and me. So that was the one form. That was the realistic one. And then the one that I saw with the blotted out face, that was weird because other than that, it was just like the next door neighbor's mother looked realistic pretty much.
Excuse me.
But the face was just blotted out. And then the transparency, it was talking about translucent or barely visible. That's the the video that we have. It's on my Facebook page if any of you haven't seen it, where it was moving around in front of our DVR camera and everything. But it was translucent. You could see right through it. It was just like a shadowy outline, but you could tell there was something there. So yeah, I've seen 3 different ones of them. And I've actually seen like a mist or whatever a few times.
Well, basically, you can have an ecto mist, okay, which is not necessarily an apparition or ghost, if you will.
Then what
Makes
exactly
sense.
would it be?
Exactly that, a mist. It's
Okay.
It's literally that. In other words, when you're looking at a ghost, okay, you have either a full or partial apparition.
Right.
All right. In other words, you have a full or partial body of a ghost / spirit.
Like the lady in red.
Beautiful example. Beautiful example. The only trouble with that, you don't see the face, legs, but there's all kinds of theories on that. I have my own opinions based on experience. That was the main thing that she put forth, was the fact, her dress.
Right.
Nothing else mattered. You identified her by that dress.
You know, and you could make out kind of sort of the face and the hair, but you didn't see any legs.
Now, there's that one, the police surveillance that's been going around.
Right, I think I saw that.
Okay. Yes, you have the virtual see-through and bare outline. You still have an apparition. The degree of evidence, the degree of visibility depends on the energy put forth. Now, with that in mind, we have another issue. Are we dealing with an intelligent haunting or a residual? I'm trying not to break into any other topics that we could get into, but you brought up an excellent point. Yeah, that's it, Johnny. The video from the impound lot or that secure area at the police station.
Oh, impound lots, salvage yards,
accident sites.
Big. You know, I'll throw my 2 cents in on this. You know, being the psychic medium, it's really hard because I see them in all different forms. But primarily I see them full body. So if I see it translucent, generally I don't get communication from them. I've got that one photo I posted on your community site, Roger, with that mist above my head. I got a picture with with Hank and I, Hank and I, trying out an experiment, and we got a mist over both of us. Now, I was feeling it, but I just couldn't pinpoint who it was because it wasn't formed. I don't know if it's true with all psychic mediums, but with me, it's either a full body or voice is all I can communicate with. A mist to me doesn't really, it's doing its acknowledgement, but there's no communication with it.
I just welcomed Tim. That I just saw he had signed in. When we were doing that experiment, I was getting the impressions of the basically of the two spirits that I was describing to you.
Yeah.
But we didn't. From one angle, there was an orb, but it wasn't as flashy and flamboyant as the lady that I was seeing. And then from another angle, someone got a picture of that orb to your right. but it wasn't as, again, defined, flamboyant as the image I was getting of the, well, I don't want to say aristocrat, but the well-to-do gentleman.
Right.
When you guys think about it, check your other chat room.
You know, we were supposed to be hearing from somebody. Are we going to be hearing from the investigator extraordinaire?
We are waiting on a call. Maybe he will. Maybe he will. You got to take into consideration, you know, that he is the grand poobah of the paranormal, and it's up to him whether he enlightens us with his presence or, you know, if he chooses not to this week or that week or whatever. So, you know, the ball's in his court.
I just wondering, I've been expecting, but I heard from him and his continuing story. Wow, there we are, way down there. But anyway, we have. I am correcting that that part right now about the other chat room. But still,
Right, okay.
dealing with ghosts. There's all kinds of interesting evidence. But who's to say? With all the shapes that they can take.
That's right. And also, an interesting thing when you think about it, you know, for the naysayers out there, there's a lot of people out there, well, there's no such thing as ghosts and spirits and whatnot. Then how come there's a name for them in every daggum language on the earth?
Because they're bored people? No, you know, that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. Sorry. Next.
Well, hang on. It goes all the way back to mythology. They were talking about it then, and they've always stressed the afterlife. You will have a good passage, and I will see you in the afterlife, brother.
Right. You know, the British term, you know, is specter or whatever, phantom. There's all these different names. I think the German people came up with the poltergeist.
Now, hold on. Poltergeist is noisy ghost.
Right, but it's German.
True. No, I'm not disputing that fact with you.
I'm
But
just saying,
not
though, that
all ghosts are
and that's a different type of spirit. But what I'm saying is,
all right, in that context, yes.
You know,
in that context,
about every country that there is on this planet has a term for the spirit. You know, why would you have tales of hauntings in, say, Russia, for instance, Siberia, Mexico, you know, everywhere, right? Australia, Argentina, Africa. They all have stories of hauntings. So if there's no such thing as a spirit, why in the heck is there stories about hauntings in every country on the planet?
Because
give me a minute. I'm still trying to find a good answer for you.
We're trying to protect your soul so that way it doesn't get contaminated.
Oh, okay.
Now, my mother kept trying to point out facts where she found, God, by the divine, help me, scripture. And he gave up the ghost. And he gave up the ghost. And his ghost was gone. And, first off, wait one bloody minute. The term ghost is still used. 2. So you're telling me that everything that remains earthbound
is not a ghost but a demon.
Someone's smoking some bad juju. I'm telling you.
I just thought it interesting, and that wasn't in the information that I looked up, but I thought it was interesting to, that you have this all over the world, and it's been that way for eons. So, how do these people convince themselves that there's no such thing?
Simple. It's called deniability.
Well, yeah, that works. Ain't that what they use with the president? Not deniability.
It's neither confirmed nor denied.
Anyway, that I just thought that was a good point to throw in there because I talk to people all the time. I don't believe in that stuff. I had one guy tell me, "Well, if there's all these ghosts running around here, why ain't I run into some of them?" I said, "You ain't gonna run into them. If you did, you ain't gonna know it." They can piss them off.
You're too thick-headed to know. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
This would go back. You want to talk about going back to eons and centuries. Hank and I were talking about this. You and I, Roger, have kind of overlaid it. The area that I was in during combat, you study it. You go back in history. You look at it. It is a very well-known battleground throughout, before Christ was even born. They battled for this land. And I'll tell you what, when I was there, you want to know how hard it is for a medium just contact one of these people? It's better off you just sit back and watch. Yes. I've got photograph evidence of, apparitions missed during combat. No shots were fired. It's not coming off a weapon. When I'm looking into a bunker, I was getting mist coming out of the bunker. Explain that. You got eons, you got centuries worth of spirits in this region that just, it dominates all record in history.
You brought up, being there or whatever, and, if you, for an example, across, to go west or whatever they were doing. When somebody died in the wagon train, what did they buried them on the side of the road?
Yeah, buried him right there in the prairie.
Somewhere in the vicinity. Sometime. And so, you would have, in my way of thinking, you could run upon a spirit if they're hanging around where they were buried for whatever reason. If they didn't want to go into the light, they just are stuck there or whatever. That could be anywhere. Now, when I was at my daughter's house, and I may have mentioned that, we had the disembodied voice that spoke to us there, and we had that's where I got the EVP. When I asked the name, it said Andy. They have a concrete slab that's over toward the fence on the far side of the front yard there. I say it's the front yard, it's actually the side. But I was standing on that thing, and I kept feeling like there's something around here. There's something around here. Why am I feeling there's something around here? And all of a sudden, I got a picture of this wagon road running right straight through there. And it's weird because the trees on the other side of their road that they live on, which it's out in the sticks, so it's like just a little back road. But there's a field there, but where the road ran, there's trees there, which obviously wasn't there when that road was through there, because that road went right straight through there. And that's what I was getting a sense of, is that there was a spirit there that was buried through from when the covered wagons or whatever would come through there. Somebody must have perished during a trip through there, and they were buried there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And we had gotten EVPs before with Echo Vox. We did a session with Echo Vox one time in his back room, and we had it hooked up to the theater system. And we had very plainly, it kept repeating like several times during about a 30-minute session, something about a grave. Now, was that the grave that they're talking about? I don't know, but, you know, I mean, it all kind of fits together.
I had the opportunity when we were, where were we? Guernsey, Wyoming, or Utah. I'm trying to remember. We were in Guernsey, Wyoming. I remember now. And a friend of mine and I, we had some downtime because I was in the National Guard at the time. And we had the opportunity to go out to Signature Rock outside of Guernsey. We had an opportunity. We stumbled across the remnants of the Oregon Trail. I wasn't quite in tune then as I am now, but there were parts along that way I could feel. I wasn't alone. There was something otherworldly there. Now, you can still feel, but you don't necessarily have to see ghost.
Exactly.
Now, again, we break into this idea again. Was it residual? Was it intelligent? I didn't.
What
know
in the world
then
is
what
that?
I know now. Sounds like a car door.
That beep?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a beep and a door. A beep and a door. A beep and a door.
That came from my side. I'm right next
Oh.
to the back door.
Okay. Didn't know what in the world was going on.
Well,
I thought maybe all
well,
the spirits were coming in to visit.
Johnny asked. No, Johnny, Toby's not in an elevator, but Toby asked, would it be cool to investigate Donner Pass? You take that one first.
Yes and no.
Why not?
I mean, like in Toby's case, if he were there and he actually would see what they were doing to survive, that would be, no, I don't think I want to see that. It would be interesting because it is a historical thing. Not necessarily a good historical thing, but it is still an historical thing. EVPs, you know, could they tell you what it was like trying to survive? Being stuck there in blizzard conditions and you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't find any food or anything like that. It would be interesting. But then again, as I said, coming from Toby's side, you know, if you had to see the whole experience, no, I don't think so.
Why not?
There is a difference. There is a difference. Knowing what is history, okay, and knowing what they had gone through and what family members did survive and the offspring that survived. Even from my standpoint, okay, as an empath, it would be odd. You would feel not only not only things happening, but the dread, the fear. And I wouldn't be able to put it into words because I couldn't see it. All I could do would be feeling it, which again is one of the reasons why I would accept the job as a psychic medium. You know, like he said, you know, he's talked to other people, and it's like, oh yeah, I'd like to do that. No, you don't, because you don't understand what all is involved with that. And I'm checking my speakers to find out why I'm getting that bleeding static again.
You have to take the good with the bad when you do this stuff.
Yes.
I don't have it to the point that I see really everything bad or get all the bad, and I do get bad vibes, but if you, and it can affect you very much. Now if you, and that's what I'm saying, if you had the gift of seeing this stuff, and you were at Donner Pass and you saw what was going on and you saw them carving up their tin and eating them to survive and everything, that would be a very hard thing to deal with. Yeah, it would affect you emotionally. You'd be very sad. I mean, I can't say what you would be. You might be angry. You might be sad. You might want to stop it, but you can't. I would say if you don't have it, don't wish for it. Because it's not always the bright side that you're seeing. Can you help people? Yes. But then again, you have to deal with the bad stuff like that. Toby will tell you, if somebody comes to him, they may come to him in the condition they were in when they died. If they were hit and tore up by a car or something, that's what he's going to see.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes.
That's an exact description of it.
That's not something that you look forward to.
Hang on. Okay, I'll use Saturday night as an example, Hank. Okay.
Yeah. We
were sitting at a restaurant. No plug for the restaurant, but we were sitting at the restaurant. And, several people were kind of curious of what's going on. They came up to us. This one woman came up to us, and I didn't hear all but one thing from her. And that was my husband has passed several years ago, and she was talking to Hank, and I didn't catch the rest. Well, I kind of stopped her, and Hank, correct me if I'm wrong. I asked her to come in between Hank and I. And I took a napkin. I asked for a napkin. Roger, I wrote down exact words I was hearing that was supposed to go to her. I handed her the napkin. Before I handed it to her, or as I was, I told her, is this something that your significant other would say? She opened up the napkin. She looked at it. Without even giving me an answer, she started crying. Okay? He was comical as all heck. I mean, healthy as can be. Well, that's one good thing about it. Now, when we go to Ording, Soldier Cemetery, if somebody's missing an arm, I see it as it happened. I see the arm going, how it went. If they're missing a leg, I see how they lost that leg. I've had this infamous girl from Point Defiance appear up at my house. She appeared exactly the way she met her demise. And let me tell you, if a person says they are cold-hearted and hard to this stuff, please fill my shoes. Please. Because you see the gruesomeness, you see everything to detail. I don't wish this upon anybody. I was, given this for a certain reason.
Yeah.
It's just, if you're given a gift, whether it's being an empath, a sensitive, so forth, just take it, learn it, use it. Don't wish that you were this person or that person. Yeah, you get granted a gift to speak to your loved ones, but how your loved one has passed is how you're going to see them.
It comes down to if you are ready to accept that responsibility. Okay? Now, touching into what we were talking about earlier, Dita has been very patient. She's put here into the into the chat room. I have stood or walked over many of the wagon trails. Dodge City, Kansas has wonderful ruts that are still there, fenced off so they protect. Yeah, I understand that. Also the trail that goes through central Colorado. I missed that one. Anyway, when standing near them, you feel a complex combination of emotions. And then she finished with, in the next line, fear, dread, happiness, anticipation, and the alike. Now, Johnny also has put in, being that it was a slow death, do you think the energy had enough time to dissipate? I agree with Dita. Nope. Bet it's just as strong as it was originally. I put in basic laws of physics. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So it stays there for a long time.
Yeah.
And I hate to bring it up. Let's talk about the guys. Oh, while I'm bringing other things up, okay? You're listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting out of Buffalo, New York. I missed the half hour, so I thought I'd throw it in there just in time. But anyway,
that's my dog's barking.
Like that one episode. Oh, that's yours.
Yeah.
I thought that was Rogers. Anyway, I was making reference to one episode of Ghost Hunters when they were at that courthouse in, I believe it was right there in I think they're in Providence, some local town where they're at. They were doing something with that courthouse, and they caught.
I remember that.
You remember that? You remember where they had the residual haunting? They saw what looked like a woman coming in, doing something with records or with something.
Wasn't that in like a hallway in the basement or something, or a room in the basement, or?
No, it was in the records in the basement.
Yes.
And how unclear, undefined, but yet you could see the disturbance in the film, and you could make it out. And then she goes out, and that was the only evidence that they had of any apparition. There is the idea of energy that remains. There was something going on, some sort of distress, some sort of highly charged emotional reaction that kept the residual ghost coming back, repeating this back and forth. without knowing exactly what records, there's no way of knowing.
You know,
Was it the
adding to that, when we were talking about the wagon trails and everything like that, you know, you're probably going to get some, and Dita brought up about feeling all the different feelings. You're probably going to have some residential activity in some of those cases as well, because, you know, what the people were feeling when they were burying their kin on the side of the road, you know, and knowing that they were going on to someplace maybe 100 miles away and they're never going to visit the grave again, or, you know, whatever. I'm sure there was a lot of stuff that would build up.
Hold on.
I could see some residential stuff, or residential, why do I keep saying that?
Residual. Yes.
I guess them words sound so close together, I wasn't even thinking about it. But I'm sure you're going to have some of that going on.
Well, I know at Old City Hall here in our town, you still have the reenactment in the basement of the one of the jailers, Gus, still escorting inmates to their cells, back and forth.
You know, maybe that was his thing. He enjoyed that, his job. So, you know, yeah, he'd rather be there escorting prisoners.
So would we would that be? Yeah, I got the side profile of Gus, the full body of him.
But he didn't pay any attention, right?
No, because he was busy. He was doing a job. Would that be residual? Would that be residual?
That would be residual.
That would be residual.
Due to the fact he didn't interact with you.
Right. He didn't notice you, recognize you, give you any kind of indication that he saw you.
Toby, why don't you explain what you put in the chat, because Roger can't see it.
Right.
All right.
And he can't make comment to it.
Okay, Roger, here's what I put in the chat. What about mine explosions? Would there be some sort of noise coming from the earth above with all the sounds, to include them blasting, drilling? And what about the men trapped inside if there was an explosion with men that weren't rescued from
Right. And, you know, that would be something that would be, I wouldn't want to think about, and that's another thing we can talk about, what was brought up earlier. If you are like Toby and Hank and myself to an extent, you know, if you feel or see or hear any of that kind of stuff, if you went into a mine, say where the one they were talking about, how many people was it? 140 people?
114.
114 that got trapped in a mine and all died in that spot. You know, not only would you probably see what was going on with them in there at that time, but you would also have to feel the suffering that they felt. Like, as the oxygen was beginning to run out and you can't breathe. And, you know, if you were, injured by some of the stones that fell, the rocks that fell, whatever, you'd be in pain from that. Well, you know, you're going to feel that too. You know, and yes, I would believe that something like that could be residual also, Toby, because, you know, that's where they were trapped there. They're going to probably relive that over and over and over and over again. How would you like to feel that every day?
Once is good enough.
Exactly.
Well, okay. Now, don't get me wrong. If anybody really wants to do what I do, that would be like an awakening call to say, hey, here, try this. Now, I will say from personal experience with the 114 men, our first time up there, Roger, I was running short of breath and very fast. It wasn't like falling down off the monkey bars and having your air taken out. It was like the oxygen in my body was being depleted. I had to step away from there just to recoup because I was feeling what those men went through at that time.
That was my point.
Yeah, and you know, I feel bad. I would love to travel different mines throughout the U.S., because I know the East Coast is littered with them.
Well, now in Kentucky, they had a lot of coal mines and stuff, and of course there were cave-ins and
that's what this was.
People died there too, you know. I want to bring this across the airwaves here. Linda J. Hastreiter, is that how you pronounce that? Anyway, she's the owner of Iron Island Museum. Make sure to watch AM Buffalo tomorrow morning, Channel 7 at 10 a.m. That's where the Booth brothers are coming with Chip Coffee just before Halloween. So they will be at the Iron Island Museum.
Oh, there's two guys I would love to work with. Honestly.
Christian and Philip Booth?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Very interesting people.
I love their work.
Anyway, I think, we were talking about ghosts and all kinds of spirits and entities and all that kind of stuff.
I was just going to say that.
And,
Roger.
you know, what? Yes.
You had a really good word, and I was going to bring up two things on it. Necromancy and necromancer. My interpretation from what I understood, I could be corrected wrong. I thought a necromancer was one of sorcery.
That does sound kind of sort of familiar to that, don't it?
A necromancer is a practitioner of magic dealing with the dead.
Okay, yeah, that puts in there.
As opposed to a sorcerer, basically. It's like a difference between a psychic and then fine-tuning it to a empath or a psychic medium or a clairvoyant. You just fine-tune it.
I may have told this story before, but we'll do it again just since the word seance was brought up in this.
You love using the word.
Not really. My uncle, and I don't mind saying this over the radio because it's true, it happened. My uncle had his skull caved in with a hammer.
Ouch.
As he laid across the bed asleep on his stomach, his wife, my aunt, caved his skull in with a hammer. Well, not long after this, and I loved my Uncle Frank. He was a cool guy. So yeah, I was pissed at her for a while. Now I understand that he beat her and everything else. I didn't know all this. I was just a kid. But anyway, getting back to the point, two of my brothers and a couple of my friends, and we all spent a lot of time at my house. Seemed like every kid in the neighborhood knew where I lived. But anyway, we decided we was going to do a seance. We was going to bring my Uncle Frank, into the seance. So that's what we did. And I was the ringleader. I was the oldest out of all of us there. And so we did this, and I'm sitting there saying, Uncle Frank, if you can hear us, show yourself, blah, blah, blah. And we were doing all this. And, of course, we had the little candle lit in the center, and we was just badass, right? I looked up, and in this room that we're in my house, it was the layout of the house was you had like a big hallway in the center, in your front door, and you had the living room to the left and the bedroom to the right, which is where we was. And there's a window facing the front porch, and then there's a window facing the side of the house, which I happen to be sitting straight in front of. And we're all sitting there with our eyes closed, and we're concentrating, and I'm saying all this stuff, and I open my eyes up, and his face is right dead in that window.
Interesting choice of words.
And, yeah, well, the candle got put out, the seance got ended, and I had to go change my drawers. Into that story. But
okay. From the handy dandy Encyclopedia of Ghost and Spirits, Rosemary Ellen Gilly. Yeah, Gilly. All right. Necromancy. The summoning or conjuring of the dead for divination, prophecy, or magical purposes. Necromancy has a long and universal history as a dangerous and repulsive practice associated with sorcery and witchcraft. I detest that term in that context. It is based on the belief that the dead know everything about the past, present, and future, and that they can be commanded to carry out magical acts on the living. So, a necromancer is someone who is a practitioner of said questionable practice of esoteric magic.
so a necromancer basically carries out the practice of necromancy.
Basically, you touched into it. If we're going to use that example, yeah. Well, no, you were basically fumbling with the seance.
Right.
So no, I retract that. I retract the necromancer statement that I compared. Okay.
Well, and I was just bringing that up as a point of the differences between the two.
No, valid.
Okay.
Beautiful example, really. You held an incomplete seance, bringing forth the ghost of a relative, which is a medium.
Yes.
Or the act of a medium, as opposed to Toby being a psychic medium. He doesn't have to let them in. He can see them. They talk to him. He talks to them.
They just come in on their own.
No, they're not coming in on him. They're just, he sees them and they converse with each other.
Let me tell you, some of the conversations are not worth repeating.
Okay, and to bring up a point, and it just dawned on me, after this seance, when I saw my uncle's face in the window, that's when all of a sudden I started seeing dead people, like my neighbor's mother, and on and on and on. Did doing that seance open something? Maybe. If so, my grandmother and all of them helped to make sure that I closed it. But that all kind of seemed to come right after that.
Once that door is open, it can never be fully closed. It's like the old joke, what has been seen cannot be unseen.
Well, and even though, they were telling me all this and they were convincing me that, I needed to hush all that nonsense, there's no such thing and blah, blah, blah. In the back of my mind, I'm like, there is such a thing. I saw it, so.
Well,
but it
bear
did.
Bear in mind where you live there, brother.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the time I lived in Troy, which is, 2 towns over from me toward the west there. They were a little small town of self-righteous, better than you are people, so to speak. Yeah, they didn't want me out blabbering around. I seen a ghost. I seen my neighbor's dead mother and all that.
Yeah.
Can I touch on
what you got?
Yeah, I want to touch on something that Johnny brought up a little while ago, and I know we got a few minutes. Is Revenant.
Excuse me?
Revenant. A person who has returned, especially supposedly from the dead.
Okay.
Are you saying resident?
Revenant.
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 That's a new word even for me.
Right. What is it? How you spell that? REV?
ENANT.
Revenant. Okay. Yeah, that's a new one to me.
I had to throw that in there. I saw that in the chat room from Johnny.
I missed that, and I was watching the chat room.
He said he was going to call in and ask about it, and I was sitting here waiting patiently because that's almost like a zombie.
Right. Okay, stand by. Stand by. We are coming to you live on WCJV Digital Radio out of Buffalo, New York. We're going to take a short little break. We'll be right back. Don't nobody go away.
Out of Buffalo.
Hello, we're back, everybody.
Hello.
Hank is on a mission. Never mind. Just real quick before we get into the next topic, I want to bring up Wraith because I always thought a Wraith was just ghost, like another term. But it says an apparition of a living person that appears just before that person's death. The ghost of a dead person, something shadowy and insubstantial. But just the thought that, say, Grandma M is fixing to pass, and just before she passes, you see her full-blown apparition sitting in a chair in your living room, that's weird. I mean, that's weird that something like that could happen, and I think it has happened. I'm sure it has.
I know it's happened with me.
It's kind of like, just at the moment before she passes, she presents herself to you to let you know that she's gone or she's going.
Yeah.
Like saying bye.
Well, Roger, that happened to my dad. While I was up at, because my dad passed at home, I was standing in the kitchen, and I was standing right behind his chair at the kitchen table. And I'll tell you what, he stood next to me and uttered, real quick, "I'm all right." And then at that same moment, I turned, I walked in the living room, to check on him, and he was already gone.
See, yeah, he was letting you know that, everything's okay, that, he's at rest now.
Yeah, he has come to terms that his time on Earth as a physical human being is now over.
Right, exactly.
Which explains the fact that this was an astral of that individual reaching out to people. So, is a wraith actually an astral of the deceased person?
Well, it terms it a apparition of a living person that appears just before they die. So, yeah, I would say it'd be an astral visit.
Yeah.
And that certainly sounds, sound and reality, that certainly sounds a lot more pleasant than a wraith, because
right.
Everybody, if you haven't read, The Lord of the Rings, not The Hobbit,
right,
but the Lord of the Rings, and if you haven't seen the book or seen the movies, Lord of the Rings, whether cartoon or Peter Jackson's just released, more or less, the term wraith is putting this idea of something extremely evil and demonic. The ring wraiths, because they were the 9 human kings that accepted the ring and became bound by evil to Sauron. So that means, you had an astral visit. That sounds a heck of a lot more pleasant. Ollie Oxenfree.
I'm sorry, my dog was up here in my face. I just wanted to throw that in real quick because I thought the term was very interesting. A apparition of a living person that appears just before death, and you hit the nail on the head, they'd have to be doing an astral travel. Anyway, Hank there's got the next topic of discussion for the evening, folks.
He does. I mean, he does.
You bet.
Yeah, we've been tapping all around when we were talking about paranormal degrees versus experience. So we're also heading into the next logical: paranormal investigator versus a ghost hunter.
And for
now, go ahead.
Everybody out there, real quick, Hank, that's a very good topic because anybody can call themselves a ghost hunter, but not everybody can call themselves a paranormal investigator. There is a large difference.
Very.
Go ahead for a minute here. Someone's
okay.
I'm in chat right at the moment, and I'm not thinking of two different things.
A ghost hunter is, to me, is somebody that watches a TV show, goes and grabs themselves a digital recorder and a flashlight, and they go take off into somebody's house telling them they're there to cure their problems. And they don't have a clue what the heck they're doing except what they saw on TV.
Well, I got a different interpretation of that.
Okay.
All right. All right. Moving on to the topic. Prime example. I'm more into the investigation thereof to prove that, yes, there are ghosts, to show evidence. I'm still looking for that elusive, big answer. To me, a hunter, it don't matter if they go to somebody's house. They're seeking a location to prove that that location does have a haunting. Without logical reason or facts, they're just going in.
That's what I was saying, basically.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at it. Let's fine tune that. Like the term says, ghost hunting, ghost hunter. Not that different from deer hunter, rabbit hunter.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Or a flies. Okay.
Exactly.
So basically, the title pretty much says it, puts it in full view. Okay, someone who basically is a hobbyist and taking their idea of an investigation of walking around a cemetery with flashlight, camera, and a bare understanding of what the tools are just to see if they can get the biggest and baddest ghost.
Right.
Okay. How does that fit with our... Oh, God, I can see it already now. Someone's going to hit us and hit us bad. Ghost hunters. Shall we say they are not exactly the prime example? I mean, they try to do some research. Anybody?
I will chime in. There was your key word right there, Hank and Roger. Research. An investigator is going to do anything and everything to go for evidence along with research, practical knowledge, instead of a ghost hunter where they're going out, they're going to go try to get it without any type of research. Just like Hank said, it's like a hunter of deer, a hunter of elk. They're not going to go in they're just going to go in blind and hope to God that they get something. Whereas the investigators, they're going to try to get every single logical answer to every team member's questions. One, is it, who, when, where, how, why? We're going to go in, we're going to do the 5 W's. We're a hunter, where's the 5 W's?
If we get it, we get it.
Right. How did I put it to you, Hank? Okay, it's like a deer hunter. You get your license, you go out, you pick an area, and you hope to God you get the biggest rack out of the elk, out of that area. Yeah, for bragging rights. Right. Yeah. I know I'm probably going to take a ding on this, but the ghost hunters, not the show, not to say for show I'm picking on the show, but the term ghost hunters is exactly that. They're going for the big game. They're going for the big prize. They don't care about anything else. Whereas the investigator, yeah, if we get the big prize, ooh, okay, we got the big prize. Big deal. Let's move on to the next. There's always something bigger.
A ghost hunter, and as you said, not saying anything against taps, it's a whole different thing, but ghost hunter in general, in my opinion, would not have the client's best interest at heart. They're just there to get, as you said, the big prize, the rack to put on their wall.
Right.
Or in this case, pictures or whatever put on Facebook.
Right.
Now, Dita's putting this into a nice perspective. If you have done the research on the place, then you know before you get into the place who lived there, the circumstances of their demise, and will not color what you're seeing. Well,
okay, hang on, hey.
Circumstances of their demise. Hold on. I need to requalify that because you may not have a current resident that has passed on. We've gone into some places that have a lot of issues from the past, like before the building was built.
Right.
Toby?
Yeah. Yeah, no. But I was going to ask Dee, I know she's listening, are you directing this for a psychic medium standpoint or as a team point? Because it's like I told Hank, and I tell everybody on my team, don't try to keep the information minimal. For me, I don't need to know. I will find out. Their research is going to be what I tell them and to agree with what I'm getting and what they've researched.
Well, there's a better way. There's a better way
of saying it.
That.
Yeah, but you know,
because well, see, with what you do, okay, let's put this in perspective. With what you do, Toby, no information because of who and what you are is better than giving you everything, because that will color your interpretation of what information you get.
Right.
And you are not the first medium that I've worked with. Well, actually, I would have to say Steph, my old team manager from Tacoma Spirit Investigations. She was a psychic medium, and we went into an area. We were doing the research of what to expect, and she was explicit. Do not tell me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
You know, well, okay. Grant you and I looked at Carbonado.
Yeah, we
Now-
looked at Carbonero to find out where the bloody place was.
Yeah. Okay, all we used was Google Earth.
Right.
Now, it's like I told Hank and everybody else on the team, go look at the geological maps of the tunnels. You will find that the tunnels go right underneath that cemetery. Now, I don't know if it's the one that caved in, but the main vein of it runs underneath it so far down to where it's on stable ground. And with the amount of evidence that we were given, we've come up with the different sounds, but 3 of us came up with the same sound. Now, a team of investigators is going to research what's creating that sound. What is causing that sound? Is it an earthbound sound? Is it a sound that was made from man and captured by Earth? We're going to research it.
Or like Tim and I were talking about, and we were discussing, and talking with him made me think, because that's right in line with Mount Rainier. So, is it sounds of a volcanic, geometric harmonics?
Geological?
Geological harmonics, thank you. Geological harmonics.
It could be. So we got to, once again, I feel that's what makes investigators and hunters 2 separate realms, because we're going to investigate what that sound is. We're going to find the answer one way or the other. Whereas a ghost hunter, they're not really going to care. They're going to be dead set. Oh, that's a ghost making that sound.
If we get no evidence, okay, we take that as it is. Okay, there is no evidence here. We're not going to make something minuscule and make it fit to a idea, a hypothesis.
We may still yet have a call from the Grand Poobah of the Paranormal himself, so everybody be ready in case he calls in. I want everybody here to take a bow now.
I'm having a hard time getting to that other chat. Don't. I tried earlier and it kicked me out.
Oh, the other chat room, the Skype chat room?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not cute enough, that's why.
I must not be.
Cindy says, is Toby in here? In chat here? Are you in the chat room?
I'm trying to get to that and it's not allowing me to.
Well, by golly, she pulled you in, and I can see you there.
Are you in the chat room with Data and all the rest of them?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay, you're just not in the one here. Okay.
Okay, so, whoa. I gotta get this out. Dita, I don't understand what you put in there.
Put it in where?
Oh, she wrote it backwards. Yeah, I have no idea what the heck that meant. Derek. Kyrig Celis, yeah. Derek lies. I have no idea what the heck that is. I love being a straight man, coming in the middle of something, and I have no clue what's going on. So I just do. Where an investigator takes time to find results and not clouding the results, which is why a lot of wannabe producers. We're looking for paranormal investigators. We're looking for ghost hunters.
Right.
And I've talked with them. And it's like, my team, we don't do it because we don't always have your exciting investigations. Not always. In fact, really, we've only had one that was that exciting out of 3 years that we've been, actually we've been doing this since 2009. We made it official in March of 2010. We became a nonprofit certified by the state, a nonprofit group in September of last year. So basically, let's say past 4 years, all right? We've only had one investigation that would have been noteworthy for television. I explained to the guy, there is no way we are going to fake results because that goes to our integrity.
Exactly.
It's like if I were to do a reading and I lied and I told you exactly what you wanted to hear. 1, what happens to my credibility? 2, what kind of karma have I just created for myself?
And 3, what kind of karma have you just created for the client?
Well, technically, yes. Yes, exactly. So 4, that means I've created even more hardship karma for myself. Excuse me, I got some sort of little bugginess in my throat. I don't mean to clear it.
In my mind, and this, forgive me if I'm wrong here. In some cases, I may be, but for a lot of them, probably not.
Yeah, we love you anyway.
A ghost hunter or an investigator. Well, as you said, an investigator, that's what they do. They investigate. They not just investigate the place of the haunting, they investigate the history, they investigate all of that stuff. Whereas a ghost hunter just wants to go in, as Toby said, and get his trophy for his wall. Now, when it comes to TV networks, sci-fi, etc., they're looking for ghost hunters. Why? Because ghost hunters would be more willing to fake stuff to keep the ratings up. They're not that interested in the investigative part of everything. They're interested in the fame and the glory and the money.
Bingo.
That's the way I look at it, and I used to love watching the Sci-Fi Channel, and I still will watch some shows on the Sci-Fi Channel, but it's just like, which network is it that the GAC boys are on? Travel Channel?
Yeah, the Travel Channel.
I don't watch the Travel Channel. I don't watch much of the Sci-Fi Channel anymore. You get these people and you make them famous, all over the world. Oh, it's the Ghost Hunters or it's the Ghost Adventures, whatever, They're coming to, I'm going to have them come to my place. That gives you a little taste of the fame. If they come to your place to investigate, then you're going to be on TV. Big whoop. Is it worth the 15 seconds of glory? Is it really?
Hey, Roger.
15 seconds.
Well, we'll get into commercials, about 15 seconds to a minute or so.
I'll tell you what. One of my friends asked me on Facebook, if a TV show or producer came up to you and asked you, hey, since you're a psychic medium, would you be willing to do a show? I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for the fame. I'm not in it to sit there and try to razz the everyday citizen. If a reading comes through for that person, it comes through. I'm not there to produce a reading to make that person feel good. If it happens, it happens.
You know, you may, and that's a good point. You, or in my case anyway, it comes when it comes. And it's far and few between that I get the visions like the wagon road that I saw out there at my daughter's, or the guy hanging in the trees at Spanaway Lake, or some of the other. I just get these little glimpses of, you know, things that are, and that's the way it comes. It's not, I can't do it on demand. If you said, tell me about me or whatever, I couldn't sit there and tell you all that stuff. It don't work like that with me.
Right. You know, okay. I mean, if you really think about it, TV is just one way to get your name out there, to, how would I put it, not to make people understand or realize. Yes, we all know it's out there. However, here's my issue with it. Coming from my standpoint, once when you get a taste of that fame, you kind of tend to lose a touch of reality.
There you go.
You lose your touch to what your original goal and mission was.
Right.
Now,
I've said this before and I'll say it again. Back when Ghost Hunters first came out, I think in 2004.
Yes.
I really loved that show because they presented themselves the way I would want my team to present ourselves. You know, they debunked everything. They did serious investigations. Later on, it got to be really comical. But, you know, they did really serious investigations, and they didn't have all that fancy stuff that they have now. They drove the Roto-Rooter van with a magnetic that said taps on the side.
Yeah.
Okay, that was when it was real. Then they got commercialized and they went off, you know, they used to debunk everything and hardly got anything. Now they hardly debunk anything, they get everything. You see where I'm going with that?
Absolutely.
That is why, and what people fail to see, everybody wants to get on TV, right? That's their thing. That's their holy grail, not getting an apparition, but getting on TV. Once you sign that contract, you belong to them.
Stand by, Roger.
Your investigation belongs to them.
Roger, stand by. You're listening to WCJB Digital Broadcast out of Buffalo, New York.
But that's the thing, and people don't understand that. They're all wanting to get on. They think, yeah, we'll be famous, we'll have all this money. Well, I read up on some of the people that were on Ghost Hunters that left the team and left the TV, the network. They didn't make much money. Grant and I can't think. One I have a hard time thinking of his name. Jason. They're the ones that made all the money. You know, I mean, the rest of them.
Steve had to make the money. Look at all those tats he's got.
But, you know, the point of it is like I said, once you sign a contract with them, you belong to them. Your stuff, your evidence, everything belongs to them. Your integrity belongs to them.
Now, I will say this. There are a couple that I will give credence to being, however televised. Okay? I will give some credence to the fact that they are investigators. Okay? Yeah, I know. You're going to laugh at me, the GAC boys. They do they do, however lightly, they do some research, and I say some with tongue in cheek, but they're doing it on a 3-man team. Well, I can't say that because they have the two in the command center, and then Zach, Aaron,
Well,
and Nick running around.
see, and that's one of the things about the GAC boys. At the beginning of the show, it would talk about how just the three of us are going to all these places with no cameraman and all that crap, but yet their cameraman that was filming them was also being filmed.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
And all those scenes that you saw where they were all in an area and Nick or whoever was the camera guy would be filming what was going on with them, but yet you could see him filming them, so somebody's filming him.
And sometimes they would have the camera static where the camera would be by itself and they would be interacting with whatever's going on. But be that as it may, we're going back, continuing what I was saying. The other, I would have to give credit to the Dead File, or the Dead Files. Another Steve, and Amy, who is a psychic medium. And my issues
Who was a member of Ghost Hunters.
No, they are not. No, they are
Amy
not.
was not a member of Ghost Hunters?
No, wrong Amy. You're thinking Amy Bruni, the cute redhead that just had a kid about a year ago.
Okay, then who are you talking about?
Oh, God, I can't think of Amy's name. She's a brunette. And her and Steve, the New York cop, travel around. Amy Adams.
Okay.
Okay?
My bad.
Thank you, mysterious voice. That strange person behind the curtain. Thank you. Because I was just getting ready to look it up on Google.
To that strange person behind the curtain.
Yes, I know. I'm strange enough. So, here's the thing with them. Steve does the investigation during the day. He checks reference. He checks witnesses. He checks history of the location. Okay? Then, Amy, at night, with her guy that does the camera, and obviously they have to have a cameraman for them because he can't be holding the camera and both of them being seen, okay?
Right.
But nonetheless, she goes through and does what Toby does. And she gets some pretty creepy things.
Yeah, she does.
My issue is when we've done an investigation and I have taken my video camera, I'm getting EVPs. And they're not getting any? Question mark?
Right.
But for the most part, I've got to give them kudos. They're doing it right. Problem is, how many investigations are they doing to get the weekly episode of that's broadcasted?
Right.
Well, I will say
or
that.
do they have to do numerous investigations just to get one that the network will okay?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. She could do 20 of them. Only one's going to make the air.
Well, like I said, we've been doing this for At least, we'll count 4 years. We'll count 4 years, all right, that we have been as a team. And we've only got one that would be considered network worthy.
And what
I'm
makes
glad
that
we're not
one?
a network.
What
I'm glad
makes
we're not a
that
network.
one stand out to be network worthy?
We have video evidence of where Toby is slamming an entity into the ground. I mean, we're literally talking about a hard grounding. We've got. Did we have the video? No, we don't have video of me taking the two out.
No.
But we don't. Yeah, we got video of where the client fell flat on her face when I took the entity out. I mean, boom. As soon as I brought it out of the house. We've got photographic evidence where she was scratched on the back. We have audio evidence of someone playing the piano.
Yep.
So now you ask why it would have questionably been network worthy. Roger. What?
I guess what I'm saying is, why would that have been the only one?
I apologize. I don't know why people are calling at this time of night.
Turn down the ringer.
As I was saying, why would that have been the only one you feel like would have been network worthy? What is wrong with some of the other ones that they're not worthy? Or are you taking it
Because
from the
that was the
network side's opinion?
Exactly. The network side. We have many investigations that would have been worth posting, okay? But again, there's the issue of permission.
Right.
There are our personal archives of laughing at me when I'm tripping over a molehill, mistaken a presentation for a hunk of chocolate cake. My lady that we finally found out that she has a crush on me.
Aww.
We got pretty much a lot of good stuff.
Those are just the things I can think of.
See, that's my point, though. You know, if you have to do something, and you have these groups that'll go to these famous places to investigate, hoping to get noticed. You know, there's a lot of places that have, I'm going to say, more activity or as much as some of these places that are noted to have activity. But you're not apt to get noticed there by a network. They don't even know you're there, right? So we're going to go to these places like Trans-Allegheny or Eastern State or Rolling Hills or what, so that we can hope that there's going to be somebody from a TV network that just happened to be hoping to catch somebody there to put them on a TV show.
But why?
Well, here, I got a question to propose to both of you.
All right.
Okay. You get these TV, let's just call them ghost hunters, out on TV. You get them go to these popular places. Why is it that only the team gets stuff while the production crew of that team isn't getting it?
Well, because it's not real.
Thank you.
You know, and I could not do Now, I'm not the owner of this team. I'm the co-founder. But if Dusty were to say to me, well, we're going to do this TV show with so-and-so and everything, I think I would have to bow out. Because, as Hank said himself, you know, your integrity is involved. You know, not just your integrity, but how you feel about yourself is involved. If you did something like that and you knowingly fake evidence, or let's just say you didn't do it, but you knew that the camera crew went in there ahead of you and set up some fake evidence, you know, I couldn't see me going down through there and, oh my God, we got this apparition here, and knowing that they set it up. How do you play that out? That's why I say that the TV ghost hunters are actors.
Dude, run!
Right, dude, run.
Wait, what was that noise? Let's run to it.
You know, I think that for the most part, Zach Baggins and them included, are to a certain extent TV actors is what they are.
Yeah,
now, granted, one team may do a little more realistic investigating than the other, but they're still all in the same pile. And it all smells like...
if you have to put makeup
you know what I'm
on
talking
to
about?
look good for the camera,
Thank you.
you know,
But they're all in the same pile of look what I almost stepped in.
You know, and I'll tell you what, if Hank and I went to those places, I bet you we could get better results than what they did in an all-nighter in 2 hours.
Well, 3 because I'd want to hang out a little longer, but yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's the whole point of it, is they have to stretch that out into a hour-long show or however long it is. So they're not going to spend quality time in one given place. They don't have time to do that.
They've got a bloody 8-hour-long lockdown.
But in that 8-hour lockdown, they get an hour's worth of filming that's going to be aired on the network.
And how much proof do you see?
You know, that's a whole lot of, you think about that, that's a whole lot of cutting and pasting.
Here is the idea that has kind of stuck me with Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunter International. I mean, we have gone through a 2-3 hour investigation. My recordings, Toby doesn't have a recorder, my recordings, Tim's recordings, and maybe 2 other team members' recordings. That basically is the equivalent of 8 hours worth of recordings. Follow me so far?
Right.
Okay. They have basically 3 to 4 teams doing basically the same idea, only for an 8-hour time. All right? 4 teams, 2-hour stretches, coming back to the control station, yada, yada, yada. Okay. You're telling me that 8 hours time can be gone through in 8 hours of sure, clear understanding and full attention to the audio, to full, clear attention to video. I've seen where we've gone through the first 10 minutes taking 2 hours. It's not that we're slow. It's not that we're not knowing what we're doing. We're piecing what we're hearing. Are we hearing a Class A, a Class B? Is it worth listening to as a Class C or Class D? Are we dealing with a Class R? Class R, to explain, is where you have to take it and put it in reverse to get something. We've had them. We've had them. Again, the difference between a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator. Cricket
Yep.
chirp, cricket chirp. There we go.
Well,
Yeah, Dita, sometimes it is agonizing. But
you
the
know, I mean,
results are worth it.
they hit the nail on the head when they called that show Ghost Hunter. Ghost Hunters.
Preaching to the choir.
You know, Ghost Adventures, same.
No. A little bit better. A little bit better.
I know you're a little biased about Ghost Adventures, but
Well,
anyway.
now, hang on, Roger. Hang on.
I'm
At
saying
least-
the name fits with the term of what they are forced to do.
Yeah.
And I do use the word forced there. I'm not using it lightly. Like
Yeah.
I said, you belong to them once you
It's a
sign
contract.
that
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah.
So
Now-
if I tell you you're going to fake something's going to, you're going to get something in this place, or you know, the rating's going to drop, and we're going to have to kick you guys off of here. What are they going to do? They're going to fake it.
I'll tell you what. The difference between the two. Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters. I see more...
I know the difference between the two.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is I see more evidence coming from Ghost Adventures than I do Ghost Hunters.
And that does not mean they're better.
No, it doesn't. How much of that would you call propped? I don't know.
That means if you're seeing a lot more activity in the Ghost Adventures thing than you are the Ghost Hunters thing, that means that they're more willing to fake a lot of their stuff than Ghost Hunters did.
You know, I don't know that I see exactly where you're coming from.
And I'll tell you, you said the difference between Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, that's real easy. Ghost Hunters don't have a douchebaggins in their bunch.
If I was given the opportunity to go out with each one of them, yes, I would take the opportunity to. Would I be pleased with what I see? To each their own. But
First off, they're going to make you sign
right there,
something that saying that you can't
Non-disclosure.
disclose anything
Yeah.
that you see.
So throw out a medium. Throw out a psychic medium. To me, those category of people, ghost hunters, don't want a psychic medium. If they do, they're signing tight lips. You say nothing. You don't say a word about how we do stuff, but you do what we tell you to do.
Now, let me give you an example, and I just read one of my favored, and I say that with tongue in cheek, has passed away 7 years ago. Peter James. I managed to find a copy at my local Winco food store, whatever you want to call it, in their bin of cut rate videos. A copy of the first Ghost Adventures Paramentary, where Zach went out and first learned how not to provoke the ghosts at the Gold Bar Hotel. Recognition. Okay. In there was the story of a psychic going through the QE2, Peter James. Okay?
Okay.
Now, for all that, now that I know what I know and didn't know then, for all the good that Peter James was, and I say this because he has passed, according to what I found, 31 July 2007. There was a lot of interesting evidence that I would have to question, and I did while I was watching his adventure on the QE2. I mean, he's talking, and he supposedly is getting the voice of the Admiral. Everyone can hear it.
Right.
Now, I'm open. I am, well, let's just say I'm open, but seriously, not that open. Not when you're going to get a ghost to address an audience on cue.
Right.
My God, where's Harry Houdini when you need him? Hello, we have a visitor. We have the great and infamous Bo.
I can't see the chat room.
You can't see the chat room, but I am. I'm seeing it. Where is our renown? And my battery is almost dead on my Obama phone. Well, my God. You need to get that recharge, Bo. Seriously, dude. Our renowned psychic having to depend on an Obama phone.
Hey, now producer Bo is the grand poobah of paranormal.
I mean, he is the paranormal's paranormal.
Exactly. He was paranormal before paranormal was cool. And we are just extremely honored to have him in our chat room.
Well, he's just in our chat room, though. He's not called in yet?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Oh, well, we'll be, maybe if we pay a home to him, maybe he'll call in for us.
Everybody tell Bo to call in.
I love that. Yes, indeed. I've been in the field since you all were in diapers.
See, I can't see what's going on in the chat room. Bo needs to call in where I can hear his imminent speak.
Oh, speak, great and wise, mighty Poobah. Yeah, well, pay no attention to the I am amazing. Yes, speak and teach us words of wonder.
Share some intelligence with your underlings.
Oh my. So I guess in a way, between the difference between the two, there's a big difference. One's night and one's day.
One has more, I would say one has more integrity to and
we're gonna have to make a movie, y'all. Oh, Bo, where art thou?
Cricket chirp, cricket chirp, cricket chirp. I have been busy as an executive investigator. That's where that's where I'm calling from. Oh, okay, that's nice.
Oh, texting.
Well,
texting.
Yeah. Tomato.
Potato, potato.
Well, it still would be calling, wouldn't it? You know,
Speak,
now,
O ominous one.
as
We
you will
want to.
soon
We want to
learn,
know your wisdom.
all truths are from a certain point of understanding. From a
that's like
certain
that.
point of view.
That's like the offbeat that I saw the other day.
We are all humbly waiting for your teaching.
And oh, great wisdom. Let me tell you about the offbeat, real quick, before we go to break. This woman gets pulled over by the state patrol. She tells the state patrol, "I was not texting." The officer said, "You were too texting. I saw you." She goes, "No, I wasn't. I was calling on the phone."
Okay.
Wait a second here. The officer then, in return, replied, "I saw you with your two hands texting on the steering wheel." She goes, "No, I was talking on the phone." So I guess in a way, texting's now talking on the phone.
Oh. Oh, famous Pooh-Bah, enlighten us with some wisdom. Since I can't see the chat room, you need to call in so I can hear you.
Wait, hey, he could watch old monster movies, but he can't call because his battery's died?
Well, no, you gotta know, he gains his wisdom through experience. He's watching those movies to get some experience.
Well, it depends on which old movies. Some are classics.
Yes.
Old monster movies.
Oh, some old monster movies are classic. Some are not so much. And during the day, those movies were the scariest thing around. When those movies came out, they were that was the scary thing. You look at them now, you might say, what was everybody so scared of? But back then,
Well, my hero, Steve McQueen, the Blob.
Yeah.
The Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
You're listening to WCJV Digital Broadcast, Buffalo, New York.
I thought you were going to choke on that one.
I bloody about well did there,
His Eminence needs to give us some great wisdom.
There, I posted the phone number for him in case if he didn't remember.
Yeah, put the number up there so he can see it. Maybe he'll call in and enlighten us.
I did it just for him.
In my opinion, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is the most scariest movie out there.
The Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
No, oh God, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Oh yeah. It ranks right up there with the Toxic Avenger.
There you
go. Sergeant Kabuki.
Lovely. Okay, folks, we're in the final hour and rundown of Half Past Dead Radio, and our last topic we're going to talk about tonight, folks, is shadow figures. Now, I'm going to read you the information I have. Everybody can chime in and call in, please, if you have an opinion. A shadow person, also known as a shadow figure, black mass, or shadow being, is the perception of a patch of shadow as a living humanoid figure, particularly as interpreted by believers in the supernatural as the presence of a malevolent entity.
Now, let's break something down here. The difference between supernatural and paranormal.
Thank you. What is the difference between supernatural and paranormal? So our listeners out there can get an idea of where we're going.
Are we talking about that show with the two brothers off killing vampires and No, not Kumanjis. God, good Lord. Wendigos. That's the term I was actually looking for. Wendigos and various other X-file creatures that are a little beyond and above, as opposed to paranormal, tangible proof, however you want to interpret it. Ghosts.
You know, I'm glad that
Bigfoot. Nessie. And the like.
Cryptoids.
Boggy Creek Monster.
I'm glad that you brought up the X-Files and you're rambling there about that, because I loved that show up until about the 8th season, I think it was, when they killed Mulder off. But he did not, you know, he was a firm believer in the UFO things and the UFO abductions and whatnot and all that. But he also did many different things in the paranormal and supernatural era, like dealt with zombies and vampires and werewolves and people, a guy that could shrink himself up a pipe and stuff like that. You know, I mean, that was the thing about the X-Files, I guess, that I liked, is that it wasn't just about one topic. It went into all kind of different things.
Oh, Roger, I gotta interrupt you. I'm
Okay.
sorry. You know Dita, right?
Yeah.
Her partner, I guess her husband, Al. Maybe his greatness would speak to us if I sacrificed a chicken in his honor. Hope he doesn't mind if the chicken is a bucket of Kentucky Fried KFC on it. Okay?
I like that.
Oh, he's read it out. He is read it out. Elvis has left the building.
Oh, Bo left the building?
Bo has left.
His Obama phone died.
Either that or he didn't term us with enough wisdom for his presence or something. I don't know. He'll be back.
I feel bad that we weren't worthy of his
No,
enlightenment.
He'll be back. Okay.
I will grieve until that time.
Don't everybody get disheartened. He will be back.
Oh, the Obama phone is on recharge. Oh, okay. then I feel enheartened.
Okay. We love you, Bo.
You know, I'll tell you what, Roger. It was my, first time with you, Hank, on an investigation down there at Old Soldiers?
You went with Ed those first two times. At the Ording and Old Soldiers,
yeah, but,
and then I managed to join in with you.
Yes, and it was on that time. Both Hank and I were seeing shadows move back and forth all over the place.
Oh, yes. And we got pictures of them, too.
We got pictures. Now, as far as being a black entity, I have a problem with that because Hank got a beautiful one that was actually in full light.
Caller, you're on the air. Oh, His Eminence is here. I bow in your graciousness. Speak, O wise one. Hello.
Wow. That was quick.
He's here. I see His Eminence, but I can't hear him.
He's tuning in.
Oh.
Is that a UFO I hear in the background?
He's trying to reach us from Saturn, I guess. I don't know.
This sounds more like Pluto.
Pluto was that dog on Disney Channel.
Yeah. Or either that, the Obama phone is not quite working. Oh, it is working.
we're all in awe and mystery. We're waiting for your voice, oh gracious one.
Eeny, meeny, chili, beanie, the spirits couldn't help him speak.
Were they friendly spirits? Friendly, just listen. Oh,
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, getting back to the topic at hand, do you believe that shadow people are a malevolent entity or no?
No. 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 Not in my eyes. They can be, but...
Well, so can a ghost. A ghost/spirit.
So would you classify a ghost spirit as a shadow person if they're...
evil remnant?
Yeah.
Well, see, I kind of look at that, and I'm asking this from kind of to get your point of view, because I see it as it's just like a ghost.
Yeah, that's exactly what
you can have a malevolent spirit or ghost, just like you can have a calm spirit. Or angry spirit, or, happy spirit.
Now, with my personal experience with shadow people, they have a tendency to stay at a distance, whereas a spirit will literally come in front of me, but the shadow people have a tendency to stay away. They like to be kind of off in the distance.
That's an excellent point.
Okay, call coming in. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hello, caller.
Back.
Hello?
Turn your radio off. Turn your speaker off.
It's off.
Who do we have here?
Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Hank knows this story, but I don't think anybody else does. We were on, this kind of ties the first half of the show with the second half of the show. We were on an investigation, and I brought something home with me, and my wife and I saw this, this spirit figure, tall, black, not completely human form, but similar, kind of humanoid, but not quite human. So by Hank's recommendation, we did a smudge of the house. And as I'm doing the last room of the house, I can see this figure standing there, and he leaves through the back door. And when we played back, we made a recording of the whole thing. When we played back the recording, that part of it, we ended up playing in reverse, and it said very clearly, "I'll be back, and I'll bring some friends."
Wow.
That was several months ago, and he hasn't been back. But, the first half of the show we were talking about, ghost hunters versus paranormal investigators. I think a ghost hunter would have taken a lot of pictures and gone, "Wow!" What we did was interactive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and sometimes, and I'm not putting down all people that go by the name of a ghost hunter, because they're not all stupid.
Oh no.
You do have some that actually do care about what they're doing. But for the most part, that's the difference between the ghost hunter and the investigator, is what they do, how they present themselves, what they, how strenuously do they try to debunk what they get. The evidence, in my opinion, it requires a lot of research. It requires that you may go over and over and over and over one EVP just to make sure that it's what you're hearing.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. Yeah, you can easily spend a day on just, an hour or two's worth of information easily would take a day.
Oh Lord, it takes me all day just to go through our DVR when we do an investigation.
Yeah.
We've got a DVR. Ask him if he's ever done an IDC experiment.
My wife wants to know if you've ever done an IDC experiment. ITC.
No.
No.
I'm still trying to load it.
On a blank channel and press record.
I'm sorry, what was that?
She said, point it at the TV with the TV off and do a record. No, I'm sorry, hold on. Is the TV on?
On a blank channel. A blank channel and then hit record.
Oh, yeah.
Open wave.
Open wave.
So you're recording from your DVR.
Back and forth.
Our DVR system is a 4-camera IR DVR system.
I don't know. Hold on, my wife's going to talk to you.
You guys had asked me about that a couple weeks ago to kind of elaborate on the ITC stuff. Basically,
Right.
what it is you're pointing the DVR, pressing record, pointing it toward the television screen as it's on a blank channel with the white noise. No. So that what you're doing is capturing the continuum of the back and forth, the bounce back. In that bounce back, you will pick up visual of the entities, human, possibly not, depending on what you're focused on. You got to keep your focus real straight, though, when you do that, because you're opening up, you know. And you want to focus on a loved one or someone that might be from a form of investigation. They might be focusing on you, too. So kind of touch and go what you'll get. But basically, it's capturing...
So are you saying, though, that we need to point our cameras at the TV or the DVR?
At the television.
Okay, we're not hooking up cameras at all.
Well, no, the cameras are recording the white noise from the television. You know, the snow on the television, you know how back in the day you didn't have no cable, and then all of a sudden you hear the da-da-da,
right.
da-da, you know, and then the other goes boop, and then all of a sudden there's shh for the rest of the night.
All right.
You're snow. You want a blank channel, an open band of snow. Point your camera, press record, point it at the television. Play it back a little while later.
I gotta find a channel that I can do that with.
I got a question about that.
That sounds interesting.
I got a question. If you were to do that, and if I heard you right, you said to focus on it. Let's say if you do 8 hours worth of recording, you watch that 8 hours, you could pull anything out of that in 8 hours.
I wouldn't do that long of a period of time because it's going to take you way longer to go. You're doing the same thing as you would be wanting to go over audio evidence. You're looking at itty-bitty bits at a time, sometimes freeze framing just a couple of frames at a time to find something. I always say keep it at about 10, 15 minutes. 8 hours is kind of going off the board there.
Well, no, okay, let me rephrase what I'm trying to say. If you were to record 8 hours, okay, and you watch it, say 15 minutes at increment, anybody could pretty much really pull a lot out of it. But the only problem is when you freeze frame it, is it going to be there?
Well, what you're doing is you're watching. If you want to go somewhere in between and compromise, I would say go for half an hour. Try a little bit at a time. If you don't catch anything and you don't like it, then you don't do it further. Or you try it on another day when the energies might be stronger. Best times are usually during these CMEs that we're having right now.
That's what I was just going to ask.
You know, okay. Yeah, I can see where she's coming from on that. It's like my tower speakers for my computer. I've been getting audio when I don't even have a tab open up to the internet. I'm getting audio right out of my speakers.
Exactly.
Now, I have tried to do the recording of it. Believe it or not, didn't even show up on the audio recorder.
Amplification. Simple amplification with already in the air.
You know, and I had the recorder sitting right up by the speaker, but the recorder never picked it up. So, yeah, amplification would help, but I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to argue or anything on it.
More amplification from the human soul toward the past soul than you would, it's of both. But I really think that it's a futile attempt unless the human soul that is alive, that is making the attempt, is focused in a state of meditative direction toward whom they want to speak, if that makes sense. Hank knows all about that, and Tim too. I mean, those guys are really good with the meditation stuff as well as myself. I saw a picture of you and Hank meditating together, and that haze is basically the concept. You're putting your energies together, and it's like, Wonder Twin powers activate.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to get to is, yeah, the meditation part works, and like I said, yes, I got the spirit coming through the speaker. I don't need to meditate. It's coming through the speaker. I got my recorder sitting right on the speaker. The recorder's recording. It don't pick that noise up. It's like it's dead air. Do you see what I'm saying now?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm going to turn off the phone now and just read what y'all got to say.
I love the idea. I want to try it. I want to see what I get, because with the activity I have here, that would be awesome.
Okay. We'll be listening.
Especially with the activity you have there.
Thanks, Tim, for calling in.
Oh, I know.
And Laura.
And, yes.
Yes, thank you for the idea.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. A number of religions, legends, and belief systems describe shadowy spiritual beings or supernatural entities such as shades of the underworld, and various creatures have long since been a staple of folklore and ghost stories. So I guess what I'm getting from that is all the different, and this would have to mean like over the centuries, right? Underworld, let's use that word. Are they describing the underworld as in coming from hell or beyond? Or are they describing the underworld as a different, different plane of existence, different realm, different, cannot think of the word I'm trying to say here.
You're hitting on it there.
I'm going all around it.
Interdimensional plane.
There you go, dimension. Are they coming from a different dimension? Like maybe next door to ours. They can go in and out as they please.
Or 5 doors down.
Right.
I'm sorry. I have to apologize now. I'm not anti-religion. Believe me, because I'm pagan. But your biggest term right there, the number of religions. Anything that is not part of the norm, anything that is not part of a biblical teaching,
right,
is evil.
Okay, that we have that word, and we also have the key word legends.
Legends takes on a different connotation.
Yeah, and
these are stories that have been passed down, either written / rewritten or oral to.
But the thing about legends is, if you read a study on it, their legends are built upon true events.
Or questioned true events.
Whereas the legend may be of a tragic murder, we'll say, done by this psycho that he just hacked and chopped this person up, what have you. And the legend builds up. Well, yeah, we got this psycho killer out there, and you never know where he's going to be. And, if you get a phone call and everything, and you answer it and everything, he's going to show up at your house. And you know how legends can get just way more fortune.
Freddy Krueger.
Okay, we got a caller coming
caller.
in. Oh, it's His Eminence. Welcome back. I think he's got aliens with him.
Oh, good word.
I think he's been captured by aliens.
Were you captured by aliens?
Free our boat! Free our boat!
Your Eminence, you're just doing a lot of squealing. Your Obama phone.
Maybe
your
if he
Obama
throws it
phone
in the air and catches it in a solar flare, it'll change channels.
Your Obama phone is taking a crap on you.
Go to
Well, you know he only has the best.
Where they can afford.
That almost sounds like.
I think he's
Hey, that reminds me of my birthday today.
Okay,
Wow.
now we're all reverb. Hank, say something.
I'm just held in awe in his wisdom and the brightness of his spirit.
Now, see, you didn't reverb. How come? Well, now
Very easily. I found out that somehow or other that little 365 Diddy Bop thing somehow got.
Okay, another caller. Hello.
Hey, Roger. This is Laura.
Hey, Laura. How you doing?
Hey, you back?
Hi. I had a question.
Yes.
This device or noise that's coming from Bo. What is that? I have not been.
It sounds like
it's his interdimensional, transdimensional transportifier to communicate with us lowly beings.
That's what it is. Yes.
Well, I was wondering if it was something similar to the Echo Box of Danny Big Beard Audio.
You know, I have that, and if you don't have an external speaker and you set that thing too high, it will drive you nuts.
Yeah, I like some of his older apps. They're a lot more simple, but my question was regarding that one. I've got Danny my friends list, and he's a bit of a pain in the ass to watch on the threads of Facebook. He's really naughty. He's downright nasty. He has no, how would you say, a propriety about him?
He has no filters.
No mystery, no.
He's
no filters,
really just vulgar. Yeah, I've been following him, but not as willingly as before. And his work is really phenomenal. But my question was regarding Bo and what that was being used, because is this a conveyance apparatus?
Well, everything he has is top of the line, okay? He doesn't deal with any low, old equipment. He has everything top of the line. I think that's his communicator to communicate with his alien friends.
Well, then that would pretty much basically fall up on the same parameters as what Nikola Tesla was finding at the Colorado Springs laboratory back when he did pick up something he had assumed was transmission from the ether.
That's very well possible. Bo, will you enlighten us with some wisdom, or are you just going to sit there and look all magnificent?
I would love to know.
Hi,
Vita. I'd love to know what it entails, how exactly it's, because how it's made and stuff. We have so many different devices these days. I'm just loving the details.
Every time he does that, we all start talking really weird. See, he's
opening the ether. Okay, what I wanted to do is ask Eric Stewart to please make himself known. He's good at utilizing those, and he's good at saying his first and last name. Eric, if you're here, can you talk over this guy's device, please, so we can hear you? Say your first and last name for everybody. Eric Stewart. Try harder. Almost. Not quite hearing it.
Okay.
Does this convey actually carry, or can you hear the voice in its true form, or are we listening to the formed words over these sine waves?
His enemies may not want to share that information. He doesn't share just everything with us underlings because we're not wise enough.
He has no idea from whence I come. So what you're saying is this is basically more extraterrestrial than it is terrestrial in nature.
Well, Yeah, I believe so. And
Okay, I do have connections with them as well, so it's not a problem too. Hold on, this is space. The sound is coming in and out on the computer again. So I understand a little more somehow.
Your Excellency, can you use a term of language we can understand?
Talking with the aliens. Plain and simple.
What do you say? I'm here?
No, I think he was getting out of his vehicle.
I think he's beating the alien over the head.
I think I heard someone say, if you can hear me, can you talk back?
Can you hear me?
Is that correct?
Are you hearing us, Your Excellency? Don't let me get that wrong.
This is Eric, though. I mean, we worked at Pizza Hut together. I don't think he's going to respond to Your Excellency. He was very humble.
Yes, there you are. Yes.
Bo is Your Excellency.
I figured that, but I thought that maybe we were listening.
By the paranormal.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Did I just hear him speak?
Yes, he said, thank you very much. Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Your Excellency, enlighten us with a little bit of your wisdom.
I am Bo Jerkhart, and you are not.
No, don't even go there with the Chevy Chase thing, man, because I'm related to him. I watched Saturday Night Live. Nice to meet you.
You left out I am awesome and amazing.
If I wasn't any more awesome, I would be illegal.
So, Bo, what you have is a device that is connecting the ETs or EBs, as it were, with the ether, as well as having their assistance in conveying the spirits in the ether. Is that correct? As a go-between?
I was just going to say that, yes.
Wonderful. I'm into that. I'm big time into that. I'm loving that. That's what I believe is how it occurs. They do help.
Yes.
They are assisters and connection, and that is, oh, if you guys only knew the story I had to tell.
I have been connected to the Phoebian people for decades.
And who are they?
Indians, as well as
what planet are they from?
I've become aware of most recently. Martians. We are the Martians. Nobody gets it.
Right.
Or were.
Were.
Yeah.
Yes. Past tense.
Yes, past tense. Yes.
Mars is not a place to be recolonized. The recolonization has already occurred. Nobody's gotten it yet. That we are the recolonization. Earth is the recolonization of Mars. It's too simple. Thanks to Giorgio Katsopoulos, what's his name? Darn it, it's Greek. I'm usually very good with linguistics, but not with my own. Tsoutsaklis. Is it Tsoutsaklis?
Your Eminence, can you tell us about any upcoming investigations you have?
Well, as you know, I've been in the field since 1979, and I have traveled thousands of feet each year to investigate. As you know, I'm not allowed to operate heavy machinery or hold sharp objects, so my investigations are pretty limited.
I was specifically
wait a minute. I'm getting a bit of a feeling that this is someone rather familiar that I have recently. Oh my Lord, you're not who I think you are you? Oh my God.
He's Bo Jerkhart.
Voice is familiar. I've seen videos. And tell me you are who I think you are, sir. Oh my God. If it were, it would be an honor beyond words.
The one and only.
Are you not? No way.
Yes.
You're not using your real name.
Your name is not Bo. Oh dear God. Are you who I think you are?
I am everywhere.
I'm interested in an investigation or in a event that happened with you and your lady friend. When you were strolling along the grounds there and you came to the pond or lake or whatever it was.
Oh, that was a demon in the pond. That was a wonderful experience, but she tried to tell me that it was a reflection of the clouds, and I dumped her.
And how did you disperse of the demon?
Oh, my meds are like wearing down on me. I don't know how I did that. Let me think here. Let me get on to some other things.
I'll tell you what. Let me help you out. You had posted about your travel back in time where you had your picture of your Stegosaurus experience.
Absolutely. I was walking the grounds of the group home and picked up a Stegosaurus walking by on my property, trespassing. And I don't like people trespassing on my property.
How dare you have a Stegosaurus trespassing on your property?
Absolutely. It's amazing.
I have a question for you both, sir, if I may.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Is this more like a whose line? What's my line sort of question from the 1940s, 50s television show? I have a question regarding your identity. Not that you need to reveal it, but it might help me. But it would probably help you. Does any of your research, or has any of your research ever involved the melting and reassembling of the molecules of metal?
Not quite. I've done melting of snow. Lots of
So
snow.
then you're not the person I thought I was thinking of.
That all depends. Maybe you read one of my books.
I would have to know the name of the author then to look that up, wouldn't I?
Okay, well,
Thunderbolt Jerkhart.
Yes, I'm an author.
World-renowned.
World-renowned author. My first book was called Let's Talk About Me. Good book. And I followed up on that with Let's Talk About Me More.
That cool book, by the way.
Oh, you read it?
Yeah, okay. Love it. Love it, love it.
And then I followed up with my critically acclaimed book, winner of the Jerkhart Award in Literature, also known as The Jerky, a book called Mein Kampf. It's all about, as you know, I have a number of things wrong with me. Some of them are medical in nature.
Yes.
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 Oh, yes, we're still here. Oh, great one.
Yes, I have a number of things wrong with me, and some of them are medical. And this book covers my medical afflictions and how the world will have to cope when I shed my mortal coil.
I'm quite sure that there will be many, many, many people at your funeral, and
yeah, it's it's a best-selling book. I've sold every one of my books. I've published only one, and I bought it. It's in my collection.
So it was a sold out run, huh?
Absolutely. I'm amazing.
Are there any reprints in the future? Oh, great one.
Maybe. I was hoping of maybe a TV movie, perhaps. We'll see. I've been pushing that for a long time with the television producers. In fact, 10 years ago, I pushed with some TV producers on a paranormal show. I won't say what the show was called, but I sat down with producers and they said that they were looking at doing some investigating at different locations all over the country. And it was very interesting, but they wanted me to investigating houses like up in attics and like up in lighthouses and things like that. And I'm kind of out of shape. And I said, no, if this is going to be my show, I'm calling the shots. And no lighthouses, no attics and stuff like that. For crying out loud, I need oxygen just watching a Wonder Bra commercial on TV. Or even an episode of Barney. So I told them...
Barney Fife or the Barney the Purple Dinosaur?
That's up to you to decide. I proposed the way I wanted to do the show. Season 1, Episode 1, investigating in the left side of my backyard. Episode 2, the right side of my backyard. Episode 3, the middle of my backyard. And on Halloween, I was going to have a 6-hour live TV special, broadcast live, you know where? From my backyard. I don't get out much.
Am I understanding this right, Roger? Is he not coming out with another book?
Were you not planning on coming out with another book, Your Highness?
Right now I was still on Mein Kampf. That was my latest book. Who's that?
That's what I was wondering.
I recognize that voice, and he is correcting one of the puppies.
Oh, yes.
Who dares talk over His Eminence?
He apologized.
So, Your Eminence, where is your mask?
Yes, I have lots of masks. I'm a man of many masks. They're hanging in the trees in the backyard right now.
I was referring to the red one.
Oh, why is my picture showing a different one right now? Yes, I've gained a little bit of weight. My cheeks are a little pudgy there, but I'll get that done. I gotta take the Bow workout.
Well, you shine so brightly and everything, that your head's putting off a blinder on us. And
amazing.
I'm having to squint because of the brightness of it.
I actually thought he was related to Cartman.
If you'll gentlemen will give me a moment, I will practice some of my psychic powers. If your audience would like that.
Well, sure. Everybody would love to hear some psychic stuff from you.
All right. I am going to give you a first name. Just a first name. Okay? And I am going to read your mind and be able to tell you what the last name you were going to give me. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a first name, and you're going to think of a last name, and I'm going to tell you what it is before you tell me. Ready?
Ready.
All right.
Here we go. Farrah.
Okay.
The answer is Fawcett. Thank you. I'm amazing. I am amazing.
Wow. I am.
I'm stupefied.
For the last couple of years, I've been bottling my urine just so, like during the zombie apocalypse, I can use it as currency. That's how amazing I am.
I thought you used it to disperse demons and stuff.
Oh, that too. I sprinkle some stuff around. I also bronze my turds, but I keep that for my own collection. It's not for sale.
Oh, but just think, in time, they may be worth a lot.
Well, desperate times calls for desperate measures, and we'll see what happens further down the road.
Did you bronze them?
Yes, I did. Every one of them.
And I foresee them all going on eBay.
Right.
If there is an eBay during the zombie apocalypse,
Could you imagine what folks on eBay would pay for a bronze turd from Bo Jerkhart?
Millions. They'll hand me gold bars.
Oh,
I am so amazed. I am so amazed.
As you should.
As you should be, right?
I'm just not amazed. I am also honored.
Well, thank you. Toby, it's an honor for you to talk to me.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And we all bow in your presence.
Thank you.
Yes, you're so bright that we have to wear shades.
I have lots of work to do. I have many things, many investigations, and many stories to tell.
We look forward to them and all of your adventures.
Now,
with bated breath. Well, no, you have me. You have Toby.
We've gone clarity.
I think we have lost Roger. No,
Roger.
Here. God. In the beginning.
Bo Jerkhart is constantly evolving in my technology, and I have moved up recently from Windows 95 to Windows 98.
Oh, the advancements are just staggering, aren't they?
That's a major upgrade.
There's Roger. He's joined us.
Well, my frickin'...
I'm still learning 95.
Now, I see you found an alien in your garden.
Oh, which time?
It does not state. It shows a picture of it here.
Yes, it is a tiny alien in my backyard.
And where it says, only someone as great as I can find such things, I am amazing.
I am amazing.
Yes, you are, Your Highness.
Yes, I don't have to go any further than my backyard to find aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot.
I have to ask you, Your Highness, since we have you here with us, about the one-legged Sasquatch.
Oh yes, I was recently at a park searching for this Sasquatch, and I came across the footprint, but there was only one coming out of a shallow creek bed, and there was only one footprint in there. Well, at least it looked like a footprint, but I came to the conclusion that it was a footprint, because don't you know who I am? And there was one footprint there, so I quickly came to the conclusion that it was a one-legged Sasquatch. And so I'm still in search of this.
Now,
Sasquatch.
Oh great and wise, wonderful investigator. Would you tell us about that apparition that you found by your kitchen sink?
Oh, yes, that would be the haunted sandwich.
Yes. Yes.
You know, people claim to see animals, haunted pets. During the Civil War, they saw horses, people on horseback, all of that. And why not processed meat? Why not? Why not a pastrami? I've gotten many calls of haunted sandwiches, and I've investigated these entities, these hauntings of a sandwich of kind. And there are...
It blows my mind that there is so much out there that people don't know about.
I am simply amazed.
And you know, when
we're in awe at your wisdom, at all the things that you've seen.
When they talk about seeing ghosts and saying why they were wearing period clothing, all right? And it's like, why are they wearing the clothes? The clothes aren't living. Why would they be wearing clothes? So my experiments and everything are my research is, why is there bread with the meat?
Bread isn't living. Bread was not a living thing. It wasn't an animal.
So my work continues.
I got a question for Bo.
Yes, Toby.
I see on your page that you were in what would be the heart of New York. How was your time during there?
Please expand a little bit on what you're talking about.
Well, your great presence was up on one of the billboards, and I'm assuming that everybody knew that you were there.
In Times Square, yes.
And I was wondering if you found anything in Times Square.
Oh, just walking through Times Square, and I couldn't go 10 feet without someone wanting their picture with me, or getting an autograph. But so goes life of somebody as amazing as me.
We are just in so much awe of you.
Well, thank you. I continue my studies, and I will keep you guys informed.
Further on down the road of my other investigations and my research.
Still doing a lot of work on the sandwich entities. That's big. I'm thinking Nobel Prize on that one.
Absolutely. And the one-legged Sasquatch, if you could get a picture of him, that would be awesome.
Yeah, or I should have taken a plaster cast of that one footprint.
But,
Right.
Hit me up. Oh, well. I do have my blurry camera to take a picture of it, though.
Well, that's awesome. You have to post it, let us see it.
Yes.
Well, we are winding down.
I wanted to tell you guys also, just before you wind down, that I'm way ahead of my time. And I'm ahead of your time.
What time do you got? What time do you have?
What time do you have?
8:54.
10:55.
Okay, well it's 10:57. Let's see, I'm ahead of you.
So what do you think about shadow people, Bo?
Well, being a person that casts a very big shadow, I think there are a lot of shadows around.
Did you ever try to film any of those shadows?
Did I ever try to what?
Did you ever try to film any of those shadows?
Actually, I do have a picture of an alien friend of mine that stopped to see me. He wouldn't permit me to take his photo, but I took a picture of his shadow standing next to me.
That's awesome.
And they stopped in for cereal. They're real big on Count Chocula.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
I heard that Bigfoot's real big on garlic.
Garlic?
Garlic.
Well, I'll have to try that one.
Now, I heard a story of Bigfoot going to some lady's house in the middle of the night, knocking on the door and asking for garlic.
Did she give it to him?
She told him all she had was powder. He said, no.
Oh, that'll be my next research. Minced garlic.
Apparently he wanted the whole garlic clove.
Oh,
does he have a preference to elephant garlic or plain small bulb garlic?
Just regular garlic. He likes the regular garlic.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, since there was, the Egyptian garlic and then the big elephant garlic, elephant toe garlic, whatever the heck it's called.
No, he likes just the regular old stuff.
Roasted or raw?
Just raw garlic cloves.
Oh, okay. So that way their vampires don't bother him.
Exactly.
Or
werewolves.
I have vampires in my yard. Did I tell you that?
No,
that's the first we've heard of it.
Oh, okay. Well, that will have to continue for another time. But yes, like I said, I have everything in my backyard.
Well, give us a call in next week and tell us about your vampires.
I will do. We'll do that.
Okay, we're gonna have to get ready here to start winding down. It's been a terrific show, and His Eminence has blessed us with his presence, and just can't ask for much more than that.
Great wisdom.
Can't ask for much more than that. But we are live on WCJV Digital Broadcasting out of Buffalo, New York. We will be back next Monday night, same bat time, same bat channel.
With 4 more new topics.
With 4 more new topics, which you can go ahead if you want, Hank, and post those out for everybody.
Well, we think I'm going to be doing Angels and Elements, and then I'll be doing UFO and cryptozoology. What were you going to be doing, Rod?
Well, I
think you said.
I want to talk about poltergeist.
Noisy ghosts, huh?
Noisy ghosts.
No, you were saying something about the Jersey Devil.
And so I have information on Mothman and the Jersey Devil, but I do want to talk about poltergeist because that is very interesting to me. May not be to other people, we'll probably do the Jersey Devil and the poltergeist along with topics there for next week.
I have a jerkheart devil in my backyard.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's
how do you exercise him?
One of the big winged creatures?
Always. They're all in my backyard.
Okay, folks, we gotta bring it down. So, in the words that we're famous for, if you can't be normal,
be paranormal.
Paranormal.
We will see you all next week. Thank you to everybody listening in and in the chat room that I couldn't see. And most importantly, your eminent Miss Bo Jerkhart.
Yay!
It's been a wonderful pleasure having you here and listening to some of your exploits. And we hope to do that again next week.
Be my pleasure.
So we're going to say good night, everybody. We'll see you next Monday night.